Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. This is The Line. Just a quick announcement. If you guys have any comments, or you have, if you're a theist, if you're MAGA, if you're whatever, please call in. We want to debate you. We want to talk to you. 720-619-2288. Please call in. If you believe in God, tell us why. Any God. Let's see, just a couple other things I wanted to mention. I think that we have a schedule up right now. I just wanted to take a look at. This is October 20th. Tomorrow we have Chewed Gum, 6 p.m. That is Taylor and Alyssa. We have on Thursday, Matt Dillahunty, 6 p.m. So keep a lookout for those. How's it going, Aron? Anything interesting happening?
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, somebody just asked me to come meet him at a local brewery. He said he had a little bitty girl, like 4 years old. He wanted to introduce her to some snakes. So he asked me to bring some snakes and meet him at a local brewery. And the funny thing is when I showed up, the whole brewery wanted to meet all of these snakes.
Aw.
Well, that's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, and
So
I'm racing home. I'm racing home, and Look Sender calls me and says, "Hey, did you know you were supposed to be here in 2 minutes?" I'm like, "Well, let me just plow through a number of crosswalks at illegal speeds so that I can do that."
You made it, though. You got here.
I made it. I would like to say that I made it. Shh. I don't think I did.
Okay. Yeah. What's going on your channel lately? You covered anything interesting?
Oh, fuck yes. I keep trying to do the phylogeny videos, that I'm known for, which is a weird thing because they require. What the fuck? My phone keeps going off and it's nowhere near me. I keep trying to do these phylogeny videos, but it's a funny thing that shit keeps happening. And so I can't not comment on the shit that keeps happening. Isn't it a funny thing how we live with the government? We live in interesting times.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing that people warn me that I'm going to be targeted by somebody. I'm like, I'm 63. Not the worst thing I can think of to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Yeah. I've been, I remember I was targeted by some nutcases in West Virginia, like, a couple years ago.
It was an amazing story about that.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. We made it through, but I have not been targeted by like the, by the nutcases over this recent thing with Charlie Kirk and everything. A lot of people I know have been, though.
It's an amazing thing because the Charlie Kirk thing seemed like to be a minute ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Let's move all the flags at half mast because there's some idiot who didn't know what they were talking about, who only wanted to hate marginalized people. So let's award him a fucking medal.
Right.
I'm a little confused as to how the fuck that happens.
He literally got the Freedom Medal of Honor, didn't he? The highest honor a civilian can receive.
Yeah. What's a nice thing about that, though? He's dead. He doesn't know he got it.
Yeah.
So there is no heaven. There is no afterlife. He doesn't know that he fucking received it. So his wife gets to, I don't know, pawn it for $50 or whatever the fuck. But he doesn't know that he got that. It's an embarrassment and a sincere shame for me as an American citizen that we allow that to happen, and that we celebrate what our Constitution so clearly admonishes,
Yeah.
prohibits, that our Constitution so clearly prohibits, and nobody cares. Did you see Bill Maher? Which, by the way, Bill Maher, just to be clear, very rarely says anything right. But
Right.
he's doing an interview with Bill Barr. But he's in an interview with Bill Barr, and Bill Barr says how Trump is going to be president again. He's going to run for a third term, and Bill Maher presents the thing in the Constitution, and so Bill Barr is talking about how he's just going to get around that. How the fuck? The fuck happened to our country?
I know. It was like very sudden. It felt like certainly couldn't see this happening 8 years ago before Donald Trump. And, you know, I never imagined it would get to this point, even 8 years ago. I mean, I knew Trump was like absolutely awful, but in 2016, 2017, I did not expect this. This is above and beyond, you know.
Now, see, this is one of the things that concerns me. You are a thinking person. I know that
Right.
you have background information. I know that you do your research. You understand history. Does nobody else? Do you feel alone?
Yeah. I feel like the vast majority of people just don't care, don't pay any attention, have no idea what's going on. And like I studied World War II extensively for a book that I wrote, and it's like it's somebody at the White House is reading a history book. I'm 90% sure they're sitting there reading it.
Somebody was recently, I can't use the word assassinated because they survived, but they were shot by ICE. You know, they're doing a peaceful protest, and the way that you respond to a peaceful protest is by shooting the peaceful protesters.
Right.
So they shot this person in the head, and the person was a professor specializing in early 19th century German politics.
Right.
So you're attacking the person who knows more than anybody about what the fuck is going on now, a century later. Because it's the same shit that they saw a century ago. I don't understand how this is a reality in which we live. Is it not mind-boggling to you?
Oh, it absolutely is.
When Stephen Miller gives his speech and he plagiarized the entire fucking thing from Joseph Goebbels.
Yeah.
How the fuck are we such a stupid country that we don't recognize that this is the same thing he said a century ago? Is it just, tell me to just go sit down and shut up if I'm having hallucinations? But I mean, I don't think I am. I think this is the same shit, isn't it?
It is. It is absolutely exactly the same. Like I said, someone is reading a history book over there. It's too exact. And Project 2025 outlined it exactly. And we're like 48% of the way through it now, I think.
Somebody complained to me that the certain degree to which Project 2025 had been completed. And they're telling me that well, you've complained about this kind of the comparison to GOP presidents with Nazis over and over again. No, I remember vividly we complained about George W. Bush with certain references to 1984 by James Orwell, but we could not have complained about him as far as channeling Hitler, because there was never a president who repeatedly cited Hitler or channeled him or used the exact same arguments that Hitler did over and over again. This is not my imagination. This is not hallucination. This was fucking actually happening.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like the Republican Party has so completely fucked themselves with this whole thing. They overreached to such a degree. There is no coming back from it for the Republicans. By the way, quick reminder, people, call in if you have any comments for us. If you want to debate us, if you are a Christian, you believe in a God, please call in. And if you don't, then I'm going to assume that you're too afraid to debate and you don't feel like your God is worth supporting. Number is 720-619-2288. 720-619-2288. Anyway,
It's a
we were
funny
saying,
thing the way that you put that. Are you afraid of debating us? But
yeah,
every time I'm on this show, they never call in.
right?
Privately, they constantly tell me how they would own me if
Mhm.
only they had the opportunity. Well, here it is. Call the fucking number.
Well, it looks like we got somebody who's calling in. Although it's an atheist, I think, so far. We're going to take another minute and talk while they screen. But it seems to me Christians are just afraid because they know they can't defend their God. So, I'm just sticking that out there. But anyway, yeah, the parallels between this and other fascist authoritarian regimes is like two on the nose. Somebody is reading a history book on it. It's wild. And I don't. Mhm.
I want to ask you about that because I've seen the thing where there's a list of a half a dozen things that Hitler said, and
Mhm.
there's a half a dozen exactly matching quotes that Trump said. And we can verify both that Hitler really did say this, Trump really did say this, and it's the same shit over and over again. A half a dozen times. Trump said exactly what Hitler said a half a dozen times.
Yeah,
But people want to criticize us for being sensationalist, and I hate being sensationalist. I do. I don't want to draw parallels or similarities when they're not explicit, which I think they are now. I think they're completely justified.
totally. I absolutely agree. They are. Yeah, I mean, there is no problem with drawing parallels now. Everything that happened in Germany is playing out in the exact same way. Um, it is completely justified to draw the parallels. And it's like they say, don't call us Nazis. We're not Nazis. Well, you know what? Come to think of it, I haven't heard anybody actually say we're not Nazis. I just hear them saying, don't call us Nazis. Saying,
Okay,
don't call us
so don't
Nazis.
call us Nazis, Stephen Miller says, as he plagiarizes a Nazi speech. And I don't mean just adapts it. He plagiarizes. He gives a full-on Goebbels speech.
Quotes. Yep.
How the fuck do you
And
defend that?
I know. Well, they just say, don't call us that, or else, I suppose.
Don't
And it's like,
recognize that that's what we are.
yes. And it's like they say, you're causing the divisions. You ever seen that graphic of the paradox of intolerance? Hang on, let me see if I can pull it up. It's really on point. It's just a fantastic graphic. Yeah, here we go. I'm just gonna flip my screen over so you guys can see this. Hang on one second. You should be able to see and hear, right? I believe.
I can hear. I'm
Okay,
trying
here
to
we go.
figure out which screen I need to see.
Uh oh. Shoot, you may not be able to see. Well,
The
the
people can
audience can
see it.
see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The paradox of intolerance. Should a tolerant society tolerate intolerance? And a Nazi stands there and says, the answer, I'm sorry. A Nazi stands there and says, you want more tolerance? Respect my ideas. And then it shows a Nazi saying, when we extend tolerance to those who are openly intolerant, let's give them a chance. The tolerant ones end up being destroyed and tolerance with them. It's an idea from Karl Popper, which you're probably familiar with. The
What I'm,
audience may
what I'm
not be.
frustrated about is that there's not a correlation with current history. I mean,
Right.
we have a number of different conflicting ideas. It's more complex, the conflict of ideas, than it was 100 years ago.
Mm,
But the argument is no more complex than it was 100 years ago,
right.
which is frustrating to me.
How's that?
Look at the amount of data that we've gathered since then, and there's no discussion of that data. It's just whatever your preconceived prejudice were 100 years ago. That's what it still is now.
Hmm. Yeah, something I've noticed, or something that I came to realize, something I found out, is that immigration is phenomenally good for society. There is no downside to immigration, and in World War II, the hate of the Jews was an anti-immigration argument. They claimed the Jews didn't belong there, that they were aliens, quote unquote. Again, they called the Jews aliens there and deported them for a while until they locked the doors and started, the final solution. Um, and it's like, it's seriously, it's like history is just playing itself over again and again and again. And it's like, how can we get people to realize finally and completely that immigration is not a bad thing, but demonizing people like that is. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm at a complete loss. I mean, it's so much of my family. I mean, my
Mhm.
family, my blood, the people I've known my entire childhood are so far into this poison hatred about they don't even understand why they hate the people that they do. They just hate them because they were told to.
Yeah,
That's
and lied to.
that's one of the things I'm having difficulty understanding.
Yeah,
I cannot hate somebody just because you told me to hate them.
right. Even you were never a Christian, were you?
I was when I was a kid because I didn't know what the fuck. I
Yeah.
was taught certain things about you have to accept Jesus, and then I was taught that God is a conclusively proven scientific fact. And
Right.
it took me a while to realize that everybody that I respected, this is the weird thing, the people that I respected, all of them lied to me.
Right.
Think about accepting that.
Yeah.
Everybody that I admire lied to me because they're stupid.
Right.
That's a hard thing to embrace.
It is. Absolutely. My family was I think my family was true believers, and I think that I lean toward they were suckers over anything else. They were all suckers. They fell for it, and they forced me to fall for it too, or else.
It's a funny
But
thing about my
mhm,
dad was probably the biggest issue that I had because whenever I was with my dad, I would hear the N word multiple times every day.
mhm,
Even when we live in entirely white areas where there are no black people at all, but I would still hear the N word multiple times every day.
right,
But there was a time when he didn't get to see he died like a couple of decades ago. He didn't get to see much of my YouTube career,
mm,
but he got to see one of my early videos. And I remember him saying, "Well, that don't prove there's no God." And I said to him, "There was never a reason to believe in God in the first place."
right,
And that was the whole of the conversation that we had about that.
mm,
And then fast forward several years, he's on his deathbed. He knows he's going to die in a matter of hours. And my mother and all of his ex-wives, what a great man is that? All of your ex-wives show up to your deathbed.
right.
That's impressive. But
Yeah,
my mother shows up and says, "Hey, would you like me to send over the missionaries to talk to you. And his eyes darted from her eyes to mine
Right.
and says, no, I think it's too late for that now. I
Interesting.
don't want to put words into the mouth of a dying man, but I know what it meant to me, the way he
Yeah.
said that. And it moved me.
It's stuck with you. Yeah.
Yeah. The most emotional thing ever.
Yeah.
On that day, we all, everybody that lived with him, his wives, his sons, his coworkers, all of that, his family members, we all give our respects. And if I remember correctly, I was the first to leave. I was his
Right.
firstborn son, and I left. And I went and I called my wife, and I cried like a little baby.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I left my jacket in that room. God
Had to go
damn
back
it.
in.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back. I'm gonna go back in that room. Fuck.
Son of a bitch.
What a challenge. And I walked in as my two brothers were just walking out. And I said, I left my jacket in this room, and so I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
get one last hug. And my dad said, I'll give you the last one I got.
Damn. That's pretty rough. Shit. Yeah, I actually lost my dad a few years ago too. It was a less kind of emotional story because I did not have a strong relationship with that dude at all. In fact, I hadn't talked to him in 10 years. I kind of regret that now, but it is what it is,
Well,
right?
I get that. I went 5 years at a time without
Yeah,
talking to my dad because my
yeah,
dad wouldn't let me be me. I had to be him.
right, right.
Tell me about yours.
Okay, my dad was just, God, I don't know what was wrong with this dude. There was just something very broken in this guy's head. He was terribly abused when he was little, like violently abused. And I think it really did a number on his head, honestly. And he had no idea how to express like real love or care for other people. But I gotta tell you, I think he tried. I just think he had no fucking clue where to start. And every relationship that he had ended in blood and tears. And every one of my siblings, me included, left the state at 18 years old the moment we could legally leave and never looked back. But after we left, he did try to form a relationship. When I left Jehovah's Witnesses, he's supposed to be shunning me, and he didn't. To his credit, he did not. He didn't shun me. He wanted to talk to me. He broke the rules and wanted to be friendly with me. But like I said, dude just had no idea how. And he was bipolar, and he had a condition called intermittent explosive disorder, where he just loses his shit randomly and starts throwing things and getting violent and everything. And that last time that happened, I just said, I'm not doing it anymore. But he had his good qualities, and when he died, I hadn't talked to him in 10 years, and I was just, I don't log into Facebook very often, but I decided to, like, after he died, and I saw 10 years worth of messages. Like, every year he'd message me and say, hey, what's going on? Hey, I saw your YouTube channel. I love what you do, and I think you're doing a great job. Final message, why the fuck don't you talk to me? And then he was gone. That's some pretty heart-wrenching shit, right?
Yeah.
What can you do,
I'm
right?
glad that and I think a lot of parents put themselves through this. I mean, you look back, especially when your kids remind you about things you overlooked, about unfair judgments that you did, things you put them through that you shouldn't have. You don't even
Mhm.
remember until your kids put you through that. And oh man, I was a piece of shit. It was so
Yeah.
bad. And my son and my daughter, my biological son and my daughter, they've been much like all the friends that I've known in my life, because I was a shit person
Yeah.
for most of my life. I've been very fortunate that the people that I grew up with were very forgiving.
Right.
You know, and a lot of the women that I knew back in the 80s, they're like, yeah, I totally get it. I understand where you were, but thank you.
Yeah. Right.
I remember apologizing to one woman that I was a woman in a relationship with when we were like at a family event. I'm like, man, I'm so sorry that I was a utter piece of shit
Right.
when you and I were together. And she goes, it's totally cool. I get it. We were all that way. I'm so glad that I lived with so many forgiving people, but my kids especially, that they still have love and respect for me, and I think more than I did for my dad, which is impressive because I really, as hateful as that asshole was, I still had a huge amount of respect for him.
Right. I had a lot of respect for my dad too. Certainly at the end, like, look, we're going to take calls in a second, but I just wanted to get this last bit out.
I like that you
Um,
have to apologize. I'm sure there are people calling, but we're having a moment.
yeah. But I remember, my dad was, for the most part, I overlook the bad things about my dad because I know all the shit he went through when he was little. And like going through all the shit that he went through, physical abuse and even sexual abuse and everything else, and losing your mom. I mean, his mom poisoned him when he was 6 and disappeared. And he had kidney problems for the rest of his life because she poisoned him with like antifreeze or something. Like it was insane. And when you go through some shit like that, you know, I understand that you're just not going to be able to connect with other human beings the same way that, you know what I mean? The same way other
Yeah.
people do. So I
The,
guess I
the
kind
worst
of,
the worst that my dad ever put me through was, he thought, and this is serious, he thought if you knew the meanings of 4 and 5 syllable words, it meant that you were gay.
okay.
True.
So he would hook me up with girls my age in like camp out situations where he could arrange the girls so that he could like cure me of being gay,
Oh my
the gay that means that I understand what big words mean.
Right. How do you erase big words from somebody's head? That's a problem. Are you gay forever now because you know those big words? I don't know how to deal with that. All right, let's hit the first caller. On that note, we've got. I'm going to bring in. Hang on. I'm going to bring in Connor, him from Texas, an atheist, asking for help in a debate in slavery in the Bible. What do you got for us, Connor?
Hey, how are y'all doing today?
Doing
It's all
well.
right.
Yeah. Before I start, I just want to say thank you to both of you. Actually, being like sharing like your experience like about your fathers, because that got me, like, as I'm listening, that got me deeper thinking about connecting with my father while he is still around. Because you never know if
Yeah,
he's going to go first or I'm going to go first, and other family members, of course, too.
it's true. You never know how much time you got, right?
You know,
Yes, sir.
it's a funny thing. You think if you go first, that'd be so much easier. But no parent should ever lose a child. We're fully game to die
Mm,
before you, and we
mhm.
know that it's not going to hit you as hard as when you die before us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. But on to the slavery in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So this is the situation that I am in. So I have a scheduled debate that is going to be occurring, planning for either Sunday or Monday next week. So I am making sure that I'm prepared. I am not a specialist in these fields. I'm just a person that has been independently like investigating the Bible. And of course, this was one of the topics that turned me to the atheist side, like years ago. I never like strongly investigated it further until just a few months ago. And so it's basically, just to put it in perspective, it's going to be me alone versus a group of like different denominations, like whoever, like I welcome like anyone wants to join, like we're going to take turns talking, but right now it's just me by myself, probably against like 10 people, like in this whole debate format. So I would like some advice, please.
Okay. So what's the debate format? Like, is it going to be like a Zoom call or something?
Well, this is a interesting debate format, actually. So it's actually going to be in VR chat.
VR chat. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, like like the person I first proposed this to was a Lego Spider-Man. He's a Catholic.
Okay, that's cool. So, and you're debating Christianity?
Yeah. So, like, the topic that I'm debating is like, does the God of the Bible and the Bible itself endorse slavery, and is it morally justifiable?
Okay, interesting. Well, I think my advice, maybe the most important advice, would be don't let them distract you or pull you away from a point that you're trying to make or a winning subject. A lot of people try to do whataboutisms, right? Like, well, what about blah, blah, blah? What if you're okay with this or that? Don't let them get away with that. Make them engage with the point, and don't let them steamroll or control the conversation. Make make sure that you are setting the terms on which the conversation takes place by not allowing them to get away with that kind of thing. And also, when they have clearly lost a point, force a concession out of them. Say, I just won that very clearly. You were wrong. Do you admit that you were wrong here? Don't let them get away with, like, kind of walking away from that and pretending, they weren't wrong in the first place. Those are a few pretty important points.
Right.
When is this happening?
This is happening a week from now.
Okay. Aron, do you have any suggestions for this, for somebody trying to engage in a debate? What kind of debate suggestions would you have?
The problem is whether the people care about what is true or not. And I've had many people in my family admit to me that they don't give a fuck what the truth is. They will believe what they were told to believe, whatever they were told to believe, because they were told to believe it. And that's it. All they care about is authority. They don't care about what fact is. They don't care about what truth is. They're just going to believe what they were told to believe, and that's it.
And that's not going to get anyone anywhere, because the perspective that I come from, like, because I'm like, if I was to like title myself, I would title myself like agnostic atheist. But when it comes to Yahweh, the God of the Bible, I am very much atheist against it. Like, I do not personally see that as a God of my worship. So what I'm getting at with this is that I am trying to like help people who, like you're explaining, like, I'm believing this because I'm told to believe in this, and that's what's going to happen. It's like I am like very much trying to help people start to at least plant a seed of critically thinking, like, for themselves. Like, hey, like, you may not have thought about this before because there's a lot that you're told to think, but have you thought about some of God's commands? Because they're not looking too healthy.
Have you ever successfully gotten somebody to question what they were told to believe scripturally?
Yes, sir. On a very small thing, like nothing like groundbreaking, but it was I actually called in the line recently talking to Matt and Luxander about the genealogy of Jesus. So I was talking to them about that because that had stumped my Christian friend, because he's like, genealogy is in here, Matthew. I was like, well, that's about Joseph. And then, well, about Luke 3:23 is like, well, that's still talking about Joseph. It doesn't say. So that's the only time that I've had someone saying, like, you know what? I don't know what to say about that.
Sometimes if you don't know what to say, if you don't know how to answer somebody, like, this isn't you're not like, I don't know, a display. I'm sorry, a debate is kind of like a show. It's like a display, and you
Yeah.
have to use some kind of rhetorical techniques to get through to an audience. And if you don't know how to answer something, then you might have to engage in a whataboutism, or you may have to point things out. Like, somebody says, for example, in a debate, undocumented immigrants broke the law. They entered the country illegally. I would say Donald Trump, who you support, is convicted of 34 felonies. So you don't really care about breaking the law, right? It's that.
Not only that,
rhetoric-
let's look at his children, how they were born, the laws that he's putting down for who is a legal immigrant and who isn't. Right, when some of his own children don't fit that, when his wives don't fit that, complete hypocrisy.
That's true. And so, like,
I see that.
So in a debate, you're trying to, it's a show. You're putting on a show for people in a logical setting. Like, when you're using logic to come to true conclusions, it doesn't matter if Donald Trump committed 34 felonies. We're talking about immigration and whether they broke the law. But in a show like a debate, you're trying to show people's hypocrisy. And that's an example of a hypocrisy. So what was the example that you gave specifically?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, are you talking about the example of when I had like changed someone's mind about a subject?
I thought you were talking about, like, you don't know how to answer something when they bring it up. No, did you not? Oh, maybe I misunderstood you.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I don't remember if I did or not, honestly.
Oh, okay. We'll disregard then. Yeah, debating is a skill, and sometimes it's all about, changing people's mind rather than using logic, for better or worse.
And that's one of the things what Morgan is talking about, right? Setting people up, letting them establish what are their own criteria, and then showing, once they label what those are, that they don't fit their own criteria. And it's a beautiful thing, because I've seen it happen a few times. It's a funny thing when you get them in a corner, which is difficult to do online because very often people just disappear. They will even disintegrate their own YouTube connections in order to not be pinned in this corner. But on rare occasions, they will get pinned into a corner and go into a complete psychological meltdown.
Yep.
Where they can't defend the position that they just set up, and they don't know how to get out of it because they're too stupid to delete their accounts. And so there they are, falling apart, having this psychotic episode because they don't know how to defend a position.
Entertaining as hell.
No, that's a good point.
I've seen this in real life, by the way. It doesn't always happen online. I've seen it happen in real time, where somebody will stick their fingers in their ears. A full-grown goddamn adult will stick their fingers in their ears and close their eyes and go, la, 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 because they need to shut down, because they can't handle the reality that they can't refute.
My mom's done that.
Yeah. I know. I've had that. I've had that done to me as well, too.
Your mother did that, Owen? My mother did that.
Oh my God, dude. Our parents are kind of
man.
oddly similar in some ways. That's bizarre. Anyway,
Jeez.
yeah. Anything else for
yeah,
us,
no,
Connor?
yeah, okay, so let's see. Just last night when I was bringing it up, they were saying, well, chattel slavery is not in the Bible, and I was like, oh man, you know what? Like, even like, because chattel slavery is very much so in the Bible. So, but like to say like, first, like it's important to define the terms, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah,
because
you have
like
to get
some
them
people
to
are going to.
you have to get them to define what the term is first, and then
Mhm.
show them where the Bible meets those terms. So
Mm.
one of the things
Yes,
that
exactly.
I find when I'm dealing with these biblical believers is they will say that the Bible says this. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Where does it say that? Well, I don't know where it says it. Well, hey, we can look up many different versions of the Bible. Just type in whatever you know about the phrase, and it'll show you where it says it, if it says it. But if it doesn't say it, you won't find it because you're full of shit. But if I say that the Bible says something, you know what? I can show you where the Bible actually does really say that.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
you
right.
learn how to
You
manipulate. Show them where it says
yeah,
that. And the funny thing is, what I keep getting with religious believers is when they say that that's not what the Bible says, then you show them that it actually really does literally say that. Then they change their argument to, well, that's not what it means.
Mm-hmm.
oh, but you're just taking it out of context, don't you know? You just don't. You're not interpreting it correct. If you didn't know.
Yep. And in those
Yeah.
situations, when they're moving the goalposts like that, I tend to back it
Yep.
all the way up because we know what they believe. They believe, or they at least can't defend the slavery in the Bible. So they're probably going to say at the end of the day, yes, slavery was good because they would rather say slavery was good than the Bible is bad. So you say, here's what I say: are you telling
And it's
me
a God
that
command.
slavery is good? Just back it all the way. Are you telling me that slavery is good in any context? Don't give them any of that wiggle room to kind of say, well, this kind of slavery and that kind of slavery. Is slavery good or bad in any context ever? Our answer, the right answer is obviously no, it's not acceptable. But they can't bring themselves to say
Exactly.
that. So
Owen,
that would be my
I got a
strategy.
question for you.
Yeah.
I'm noticing earrings in you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was living in the 1980s, 1982
Mhm.
or thereabouts, people will tell me that if you wear an earring in your right ear, it meant you were gay, and if you wore an
Mhm.
earring in your left ear, it meant you were a drug dealer.
Yep.
Maybe it was the other way around. I can't really remember. But the funny thing was, I knew a gay drug dealer, and he didn't have either ear pierced.
Oh,
So
really?
as I
Okay.
was
I've
See,
never
they
neither
would
seen both.
say
gay, since I was neither gay nor a drug dealer, I decided it was necessary to pierce both ears.
That's funny. Yeah.
yeah, right
They
is
say
wrong, left is right is one of the
uh,
sayings.
left is right, right is wrong. Yeah. Yeah. That's the saying. Uh, Old
Jeez,
school. I
man.
forgot about that.
Oh
But
man.
yeah.
Well, it
Anyway.
is. Thank you for taking my call, gentlemen. Like this has been a pleasure.
Mhm.
Like for real.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we helped. And please call in again. All right.
You did. Oh,
Thank you
always.
Awesome.
kindly.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll
So,
talk to you later then.
Owen, do
Yeah.
we have any theists on the phone?
We, as a matter of fact, we do. We have a deist and we have a theist.
The
So
deist
let's
is
bring
just a
in,
poser. Go straight to the theist.
okay, can do. All right, we're bringing Matt in. Matt says, oh, this is Matt Slick. Says this is Matt Slick. Do you know Matt
Matt
Slick?
Slick?
That's right. Yeah,
I
that's
get to
right. How
win
you
an
guys
argument
doing?
against Matt Slick again?
Well, I don't know what planet you're from, but if I contact Elon Musk, maybe give me a planet to where you live. Sure.
Is this the same Matt Slick that I trashed that other time?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to, but I thought I would just call in and see if you guys want to have a discussion on
Absolutely,
slavery or
I'm
God's
all for it.
existence, God's existence, or the viability and reasonableness of atheistic philosophy,
So
or
do
whatever
you
you want
have
to
any
do.
relationship to Carm?
I'm the guy who wrote Carm.
Matt Slick. Thank you. This is going to be
Okay.
an absolute treat. Thank you for calling in.
Okay.
All right. So why don't you tell us one reason why you believe in God? We'll start there. Try to avoid Gish Gallops or anything.
Well, when atheists ask me that question, I give them an experience, and I don't offer the experience as proof. It's only what happened to me. So you can ask for what that was or not, and it doesn't bother me if you do or don't. But I'm just saying that's the reason. I had an encounter with him when I was an agnostic.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. By the way, I am familiar with who you are, and I appreciate you calling in. I don't think you and I have ever had an opportunity to interact before.
Right.
And I
Yeah,
appreciate.
I'm going to have a bucket of chuckles out of this. So, and I do appreciate you calling in, just like Owen said. What I would like to refer to for just a moment is I was a big fan of the Beatles a long time ago, and I remember George Harrison talking about how he had this personal relationship with Lord Krishna, and that if he would, did he and John Lennon agreed that when you chant the mantras, that you could actually see Krishna appear, and you could not. He would be physically there with you, that they could see him and hear him speaking with them in real-time two-way communication. I don't know that any Christian has ever had that experience.
Well, lots of them have. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John,
Clearly, those don't count as the kind of experiences you're talking about.
Well, you said experience. You haven't defined what kind of experience or the parameters of it. When I offer my
a handful
conversion
of
experience,
accounts about the life of Jesus that are not apparently even written from the perspective of a witness clearly would not count as that.
Well, I would differ with that, since if you were to read the Gospels and you were to read the epistles, you'd see that there are first-hand accounts in them. It's not that hard to discern.
But since we have written the Gospels and realized that they are not first-hand accounts, then what do we do with your initial assumption being refuted, right, like at the get-go?
Well, you've stated that they're not written by any original writers or any.
And obviously
you haven't demonstrated that.
Obviously
look,
not.
If you ask me a question, if you want me to answer, I'd be glad to. But if you keep cutting me off, I'll go somewhere else.
Okay.
Well, go ahead and answer the question. Just don't assume that we can assume what we cannot assume.
You assumed.
Okay.
We already read the
ahead.
Gospels. We know better than you. So don't assume that we assume what you assume.
Am I going to be allowed to answer questions?
Go ahead.
Or do I have to assume
Go ahead.
Are
Lay
you
it down.
answering the question?
Or wow, you guys are tough. Wow, you don't want that. Or are you going to let me finish my
Answer the
statements?
question.
That's all I'm asking. Well, are you going to let me
Answer the
finish my
question.
statements? You keep interrupting. You have made the assumption and the assertion that none of the Gospels or any letters in the New Testament are written by eyewitnesses. You haven't demonstrated that to be true. You just made a claim. So you demonstrate your
Do we
claim is
have
true.
to
Go ahead.
demonstrate what has never been indicated?
Well, when you say never, it means a ubiquitous content of knowledge, which you can't assert or claim.
Well,
you
I
made
don't know.
a statement.
I had an interview.
Okay,
I had an interview with
are you
Bart
going to let me
Ehrman.
finish?
Excuse me. I had an interview with Bart Ehrman a couple of days ago, wherein he said that there were actually there's not just the 4 Gospels that made it into canon. He says he's aware of 40 Gospels, most of which did not. Just the 4 that made it into canon. So your allegation is moot.
No, you're the one with the allegation. I'm asking you to demonstrate it to be true. Go ahead.
Okay. What am I supposed to demonstrate to be true?
You said that none of the New Testament writers were in any way eyewitnesses. All right, demonstrate
Right.
that's the case.
So you are making the claim that the New Testament writers, despite all indications to the contrary, you want to contradict all of the Gospels by saying that they are eyewitnesses, despite the fact that they are not written from an eyewitness perspective. You've got quite a challenge there. So go ahead and substantiate your claim.
I'm waiting for you to do yours. Go ahead.
What is mine supposed to be?
You claim that none of the writers in the New Testament are
Correct.
authors or those who originally had met or encountered Jesus. Okay,
Right,
that's your
obviously.
assertion. I'm responding to your assertion.
That's not an
Do you have
assertion. None of that implies that it was ever written from a first perspective. But you are saying that despite all the evidence to the contrary, that they are eyewitnesses accounts. So make your case to show how they are.
This is typical of what atheists do when I have discussions with them. They make a statement, I ask them to verify, then they try and turn it around. So if you
I'm
cannot
sorry that you don't
demonstrate-
understand where the burden of proof lies. So you
You're
have
the
a
one who
handful of
made the
claims.
statement.
You have
Can
40
you let me finish?
different claims. You have 40 different gospels, all claiming to say things about Jesus. And you want to say that just 1/10 of those are actual claims out of Jesus. So how do you verify that?
Okay. So let's try this again. I thought you were going to let me finish my sentences. I don't know if you are guys who keep your word. You made the claim, either retract the claim so we can continue to discuss something else, or demonstrate it's the case. Go ahead.
What are we supposed to do now?
You said that none of the New Testament documents are attributed to anybody who are eyewitnesses.
That's
Go
correct.
ahead, demonstrate that's the case.
Okay, show me
There's
that
your
any of
assertion.
the New Testament claims are attributed to any particular person. Show me that.
So you can't demonstrate your claim, first of all. Now
Wait,
you
wait,
want
wait.
me to demonstrate
You're
the
supposed
contrary.
to show that these anonymous authors are attributed, that their stories are supposed to be attributed to a particular person. You're claiming
Okay.
that you can show that these anonymous documents are attributed to a certain person, right?
I didn't claim anything.
Okay, so none of these documents
need to
are
assert your
attributed to
claim.
any particular person.
So go ahead. Now show it to us. Show us that's the case. Go ahead.
Wait,
There's your
wait.
assertion.
You're
asked you a question.
saying that none of these documents are attributed to any particular person.
I didn't say they were. I didn't say they weren't.
Okay,
I'm
so where
referring
we're
to
at
your
now,
initial.
we have a
Hold on.
handful
Hold
of
on. Hold on.
unsubstantiated
I'm referring
claims.
to your initial statement. Your
Okay.
statement. You're the one
Okay.
who did this. You're the one who offered up a fact. I'm asking you to defend your fact, and if you can't, just say
What's
you
the
can't.
fact that I
and we
offered?
can move on to some. We can move on to some more difficult issues related to atheism.
What was the fact that I offered?
You made a statement. None of the New Testament documents are attributed to original eyewitness accounts or writers.
Can you show me
I'm
any that
asking
are?
You're the one making the statement. Demonstrate your statement.
Yeah, right.
You said it.
That means
Demonstrate the
that
statement true.
logically then, if you want to contest that statement, you would be able to show that one or some of these are. Can you show that one or some of these are?
I don't have to contest it. You have to be the one to
Okay,
demonstrate
so you're
it's
just
true.
going to
I'm
concede
waiting for
defeat
you.
on the initial point right away?
You concede you can't demonstrate your point?
You mean I have already demonstrated my point because you can't show me that any of
No.
these gospels are attributed to an actual author?
You made a logic error. Didn't say can. I didn't say I can't.
Where
You're
was the
assuming
logic
things.
error?
Please let me finish. You're the one who made the assertion. Back up your assertion or retract it, and we can go on to something else.
Okay. Can you show me that any of the gospels are actually attributed to a legitimate author? Show me.
So this is the problem we're having. I caught you in a logical problem. You're
Excuse
trying
me.
to shift
This
the
is why
goalpost,
CARM has
and
failed
you're
as a
interrupting,
project,
and you
because you don't
interrupt.
understand
You
what
interrupt.
logic does or how it works.
You
You say
interrupt
that
constantly.
I need to verify that one of these gospels is attributed to an actual author. I say
I
that
didn't
they're
say
not.
that.
The scholarship says
I
that
didn't
they're
say
not,
that.
but you're going to
I didn't say
contradict
that.
that and tell me that they are. So show me how they are, or
I
concede
didn't
that
say
I'm right
any of
and
that.
that they're not.
I didn't say any of that. You're making stuff
Okay, so
up.
you
You
can't
said
defend your
that
position
they
at
aren't.
all.
You
So you can't
defend
defend your
yours. You're the
position
one who
at
made
all.
the position. Why don't you let
Okay,
me
can I
finish my
ask
sentences?
something? Can I ask
Can
something?
I finish my sentences? Can I finish my sentences, please? You want a
Please
fair
finish
discussion?
your sentences,
Yes,
because it would
that's
be
right. I'm
no
being
fun to
polite.
beat you if I didn't fully allow you to finish your sentence.
I didn't make any claims. I'm sitting here, and you're the one who made a claim. None of the Gospels and New Testament
claim you
documents are
made-
authored by the original. Can I
The
finish?
claim you
What is
made
wrong with you?
was that the Gospels
Can you
can
finish? Let me finish.
actually be attributed to certain people. Is that not correct?
I didn't make any claims.
Okay, so
You
you
don't
do
believe that?
not.
I didn't make any
You do
claims.
not even contest
I
us.
didn't
When
make-
we say that the Gospels cannot be attributed to any particular author, you agree they cannot be attributed to any particular author.
No, I didn't agree. I didn't disagree. I'm
Okay,
asking you
so
to
you are
validate your
making
claim.
a claim that certain Gospels are attributable to certain authors. Is that the claim you're making?
I'm not making any claim for the fifth time. I'm
Then
asking
why
you to
are you
verify
even on
yours.
the call? Figure out, what are you
To
going to
ask me
say?
to verify.
Are you going to agree that they're not attributable to any particular authors, or are you going to say that they are attributable to certain authors? See, this is why CARM as a project has failed, because you can't logic.
Yeah. I'm asking you to verify your assertion. You
I think
failed.
what you're doing
Right.
is
Okay,
asking
let
Aron
me-
to prove a negative. How are we supposed to demonstrate for a historical
There
document?
you go.
Hold on.
There you go.
Okay. The assertion that you made, I believe, was that these four gospels are understood to be directly written in eyewitness accounts. What Aron is saying is it appears that they are written in a way that does not indicate a first-person eyewitness perspective, and we cannot prove a negative. Most historical documents like this are not possible to attribute to any one author. So if you don't believe that, like, that's the baseline assumption. We don't know who wrote this. So if you think we know who wrote it, that is the claim that needs to be substantiated.
Did I not
I
already
didn't make any
explain that?
claim. When
The
did I make a
claim
claim?
I
You
guess you just
made-
don't believe in anything.
The claim
No, I didn't. Look,
you
look,
made
I've
was
debated
that
atheists
Gospels
thousands of
can
times.
be
I know
attributed.
the
Excuse
game.
me, I'm speaking here. The claim you made
Don't let your
was that the
hypocrisy
Gospels
show
can
now.
be attributed. Excuse me. The claim you made was that the Gospels can be
Where?
attributed to certain authors. Do you back that up or not?
When did I claim that?
Okay,
At the beginning,
so you agree
claimed
with
that at
us.
the beginning.
You agree with
said-
us then that the Gospels cannot be attributed to any particular author.
I didn't say that. I didn't say not. I'm saying
It's
you
one or
made
the
a
other,
claim.
dude.
Yeah.
You
Can you let
either
me finish?
suggest
Look,
that the Gospels can
you
be
can't-
attributed to particular
Look.
authors, or they cannot be attributed to which one is it?
if you can't defend your assertion, admit it. Admit it.
Okay.
I
You made
will
an
admit
assertion.
it when we get there, but right now we have the problem with you being able to being
No.
unable to defend what your position is. Is your position that the Gospels are attributable to particular authors, or that they are not attributable to particular authors? The stupid cannot rule here. You have to make a choice.
Like, I think maybe we're stun locked. So
Yeah.
why don't we say this?
I think is the
Mhm.
issue is here, when you say attributable, it's a subjective kind of a preference.
Oh my
There
God.
could be different sources, internal. Let me explain. Internal or external attributions that you can talk about for the eyewitness accounts. But you're the one who made this claim that none of
No,
them
I
are.
Nobody.
I'm
Look,
asking you to
but we did not.
every
I'm sorry.
time.
We didn't
Every
make
time.
the claim.
Every,
You made
every
this
time.
claim.
Every time I go to
Eyewitness
ask,
account
do
You
this.
made the claim, And now
Why
we're
don't you
stun
guys?
locked.
Why don't you guys let me finish?
Why don't we try this? Why don't we try this?
Are
Nobody's
no
making a claim.
eyewitness accounts.
Are you conceding that your statement that they are not attributed to the eyewitnesses, the New Testament documents? Are you
There are
asserting
no
your statement was just,
eyewitness accounts.
there are none?
None. There are no
Okay.
eyewitness accounts.
Do you believe that
There are no
that
eyewitness
Matthew,
accounts.
Mark, Luke, and John were written by those 4 people?
See, you're making a logic mistake. I'm going to help you out.
No, I'm just
He's asking you a
There
question.
are-
Yes,
He's
I think
going
that.
to help
I
you
can
out.
help you.
He who does
can
not
help you
understand
if you
fuck
let me.
all is going
If
to
you
help
let-
the intellectual out. Don't you love that? The guy who doesn't know dick about jack is going to help the smart person understand things. Don't you love that? Isn't that sweet?
Okay, look, maybe we should take turns. We just
Can you let
took
me
a
finish
turn.
my sentences?
We can.
I-
Can you tell me, were they written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John?
Look. I've done
Whoa,
this
hold on. That's
1,000
not
times.
how. It was a
And
yes
I
or
think
no,
that
brother.
the answer was
look,
either
if you
yes
guys are going to continue to interrupt, and
no.
I can too. If you're not going to be polite,
Hey.
then why should I be polite? I'm asking
Matt
you to let me
Slick.
finish my sentences. You won't do it.
Matt
Why
Slick,
don't you let me finish? You made the
my
assertion.
friend asked you
Live
a
up to your
question that
assertion.
can be
And if you
answered with
can't do
either
it, then
yes
don't do it.
or it
Then
can be
you
answered
either
with
back up your
no.
assertion or you
But
don't.
you will
You
not
don't.
answer
You
yes
can't.
or
You
no
don't prove a
because you are
negative.
full of
I'm
shit.
trying to help you out. It's an
Then
issue of the
answer
negative. You don't
yes
say it's
or
the case that they're
no.
not. You put you on the
Answer-
defensive. This is basic
Answer
logic. Basic
answer
logic. You
Owen's
can't
first
demonstrate the
question.
negative, and yet you
It's a
offer it.
yes
Wait.
or it's
Okay,
a
hang
no.
on. So you're saying that you aren't going to tell me then, yes or no?
You're going
Were
to run?
they?
You
Well,
made
I just want
a
a yes or no.
negation statement that's supposed to be universally true. How do you defend a negation statement like you made? You guys
Wait,
made a
you're-
mistake from the start.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. So you're
How do
saying
we-
that I'm asking you to
Hold
prove a
on,
negative
Owen,
by
Owen, hold on. I got to jump in. How
Okay.
do we defend a statement where we are criticizing the person making the claim that they cannot justify the claim? How do we defend the fact that Matt Slick cannot substantiate his bullshit assertion? How do it falls upon us that Matt Slick can't defend the stupid ass bullshit he makes up? Is that really the problem?
You guys are failing with logic. Let me help you out. You made an
Oh,
assertion.
yes.
The assertion was
That's
a universal negative.
That's like the guy who
How do
doesn't
you
know dick about
demonstrate-
Jack is going to help
You
us
don't-
out.
you
Isn't
don't
that
know.
sweet? I love this.
It's too difficult because you got to interrupt. You won't let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
You are the ones who made a
Please.
negation
Finish.
statement. You said they were not written by. How do you prove they're not written by any
Okay,
eyewitnesses? It's
look,
the
brother,
first
hang on,
mistake you
okay.
made.
Look, all
It's
right.
a mistake
So
on your part.
first of all, that
You can't
all right,
do
fine.
it. You guys don't even.
Okay,
You're not even
that
aware of
claim is out
logic
there.
enough
Now,
to see
can
your
I
own
ask
problem.
you? That claim is out there. Now, can I ask you? Do you think it was written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John?
Now, okay, now that you've admitted your negation statement failed. Yes,
Excuse
I do
me.
believe they're
We
written by
asked
Matthew,
you
Mark,
a
Luke, and
yes
John.
or no question, and Matt Slick is too fucking stupid and dishonest to say yes or no. Answer him
Just tell
yes
him.
or
So-
fucking no.
So the best now you attack my person. This what your
We're not
Of
atheism
course
brings
I
to
do.
you?
You're a religious apologist. That means that you're a professional liar.
Oh, okay. So now personal insults. Well, that's great. That doesn't
You
refute
are
any
a
arguments.
religious apologist.
You made
That means that you have to systematically
Aaron?
make up excuses to rationalize or justify
You're great.
whatever
You're a
is
great man of faith, Aaron.
inconsistent with your bullshit assertions. You have to lie for a living. That's what apologetics is. So Owen asked you a yes or no question. You cannot answer a yes or no because your life depends on lying. So you have to come up with some bullshit. You're a professional politician. You should run for office. You can't
Yes,
answer a
that.
Don't tell him
straightforward
that.
question.
Don't tell him that, Aron. Nope.
So
All
So
right.
this is the best you got. Attack my person. I showed
Oh,
Right.
no,
you
this
your
is not the
statement
best I got.
initially was a
This is
problem,
just what I got
and
for
then
you.
once
I wouldn't pull out
once
the
you
best I've
realized it was
got
a
until I
problem,
got better than you.
let me finish. Can I finish? Come on, guys.
You
You want fair
pretended that this
discussion
was the
or
best
not?
I've got when all I'm dealing with is you.
You want fair
Why
discussion?
would I bring out the best
want-
I've got for a 5-year-old? Excuse me.
Would you
I've
want
got
fair
much
discussion?
better than I need to pull out with you. You are
Do you want a
nothing,
fair
sir.
discussion? Are you
Oh, I
going to
do, but
discuss
you
things
can't do
fairly
that.
or continue with
Unfortunately,
insults?
we're stuck with Max Slick. I can't get a fair discussion
we
because
go.
I can't get an equal. I'm stuck with Matt Slick.
You're a great man of faith, Aron.
Uh-huh.
Except that I don't have any
discussion,
faith, and all you have to do is lie. All you
Yeah, you
can
do,
do
you
is
do.
lie. I
So,
don't have faith,
We're
but I
talking,
know
I'm talking
that I'm
logic.
going to be better off
I
than
guess
you
yes,
because
you do.
you are a professional liar. And that's all you can
We
do.
have.
I'm going
We
to sit
have.
back and
If you,
shut up because I think Owen probably possesses more détente than I do. And frankly,
Okay.
I don't have patience for professional liars,
don't.
especially not idiots.
Okay.
And I've dealt with you before, Matt Slick, so I know you are not in my fucking league.
All right. So let's give
that's
this a
for
shot.
sure. We're definitely not in the
Just
same
me and
league,
you
that's
now.
for sure.
All right. Yep. And now it's just me and you. So I do have that question again. We're starting from zero. I haven't made any claims. Do you think Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were written by those people?
I believe so, yes.
Do you have any evidence for that?
You can go to Papias for one thing, who's written in the 2nd century, who says that it was Matthew who did it. You can look at certain things inside of the Gospels. In Luke 1, for example, talks about Luke. Now, he was not an eyewitness, but he interviewed the eyewitnesses. So Luke wrote Luke and Acts. John, on the other hand, says that
I'm
he
sorry.
saw it.
Just a second. So you said that Luke was not written by an eyewitness just now? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Luke was written by Luke. He was not an eyewitness. He was not an original disciple.
Okay. I understand. I'm sorry, but you are just in contradiction to the academic community. They were not written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Well, you can
I mean,
say that.
what
and I
about
have a
the
saying.
last?
What
about the last chapter of Mark? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. 1 second. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I'll give you an opportunity in 1 second.
Hold on.
What about the last chapter of Mark?
Well, these guys don't want to talk. You don't want to talk, do you?
Go ahead.
Okay. So you have to understand that if you go into the internal documents of John and Matthew, there are certain accounts, like in John, he who saw it is testified, his testimony is true. Look, you ask, why is it so many people ask me a question? I start answering them, then they stop me from answering. Why is it you ask a question you don't want the answer?
What do you mean when you say internal document? I don't understand
inside of the Gospel of John. It says
you're talking
this
about
is the disciple which I'm trying to answer you.
I'm trying to understand. Look, I'm very cordial.
For a second, stop interrupting.
Look, if you say something I don't understand, I'm going to ask clarification.
Matt, there's a delay. There's a delay, and sometimes we need to ask clarifying questions. So stop malding about the fact that we talk over each other a little bit. Just answer the fucking questions, please. Thank you.
I just want to point out that I haven't said a word all the time.
I know,
that Matt,
so proud of you
want to answer my question? You want to answer it? It's fucking loser man is having a problem.
Okay.
We could all be completely
You
dead
ready?
silent. He still can't answer the question.
Yeah.
So if you go to John 19 and John 21, in there it says we. It's inclusive of the first person. When you look at the early testimonies of the church. Okay. Why are you not letting me finish? Oh, I know.
Because
you're not have to look at
I know why you don't want to finish.
The fuck is an internal document? What is an internal document?
What do you mean when you say that?
Citation.
Oh, a citation inside of the.
Can I? Okay, good. Look, guys. Can I?
So you don't mean an internal document. You just mean read John.
Citation.
I wasn't saying just read John. I didn't say that.
Is there a difference between reading John and in an internal citation?
There's a statement inside of John Can I finish?
I don't know. Can you?
Yes, I can, but you have to let me
It sounds
speak.
like you have difficulty.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because you interrupt so much. Yeah.
Maybe if you
John
just answer the fucking question.
1935. John 19:35, for example, he who saw it has testified. His testimony is true. He knows that what he's telling is true, that you may also believe. In John 21:24, for example, this is the disciple, which means it's one of the 12, which testifies of these things, who wrote these things, and we know that his testimony is true. We see the internal evidence of the Gospel of John is that there were eyewitnesses, and an eyewitness wrote because he says, we, I, me, there.
Okay. I see what you're saying. However, you are in direct contradiction to the broader community, to the broader academic scientific community. Literally nobody agrees with you on this, so you're going to have to give me something. I'll take anything other than they use certain pronouns in that book. That doesn't mean it was written by an eyewitness. I need something, anything, please.
So if Jesus says, I am he,
you
won't accept.
Let me respond to that.
Let
me respond to that. Let me respond to it. Let me respond. First of all, my scholar can beat up your scholar. They differ in all kinds of categories and all kinds of topics. Saying that a majority of the scholars...
I don't think
Hold on.
I really don't think so.
Saying
That's just a stupid thing to say. I can beat up your scholar.
Can I please talk? Can you let me talk? Can you let me talk?
Why don't you say things that make sense? Speak like an intellectual.
You don't let me finish.
Speak like an intellectual. You don't begin to do that.
Guys, can I speak? Please let me finish. You ask questions.
I don't
trying
know
to
if
answer.
you can speak like an intellectual. I'm inviting you to do so, but you've never done so in your career. Surprise me.
Can you... Guys. So, just because you say a majority of scholars say something, that's called the argumentum ad populum. It doesn't validate or invalidate anything. Different scholars have different reasons for believing. Different scholars have different reasons for believing different things. I went to the internal evidence of the document where a first-person account is embedded in the Gospel of John.
Is the Earth flat?
The idea of,
you think the Earth is flat?
It implies the idea of an eyewitness in that document.
Okay, do you think the Earth is flat?
Boy.
I'm going somewhere.
I hope you don't.
No, I don't think the Earth is flat. So I assume you don't think the Earth is flat. Why?
But the idiots who wrote the Bible thought that.
What? Okay, why? The reason I ask this is because you accept the scientific consensus on that, but this one very specific area of study, you reject the scientific consensus. Why that and not this?
First of all, I've done research on this so-called...
Close to your heart?
I want to answer. You don't want me to answer, do you?
Oh, you're such a victim.
I think you guys are afraid of me, actually.
You're such a victim.
Afraid you want to just dominate.
Matt Slick, can I just ask you a question? Everything you say is such gold to us because everything you say is such is so phenomenally stupid. Why would we not want you to speak? You are the best way to prove our point about how stupid creationism is. Yes, we absolutely want you to speak.
If you don't want me to speak, why are you continuing to ask me questions? And if you don't want me to answer, I guess the evidence is because you keep interrupting.
That's why we ask you questions. We know you're too goddamn dumb to answer. Answer the fucking question.
My answer?
Show us all how stupid you are.
Can you let me answer?
All right.
Can you let me answer the questions? Can you do that?
Remember, there's a delay.
There's a delay. So you guys are two of the worst I've ever encountered in 40 years of debates with atheists. Yeah, you guys are two of the worst.
You are absolutely hands down the worst I've ever encountered because of your stupidity, which is why I'm so delighted that you called in tonight. I want to thank you for calling in tonight because nobody makes a better demonstration of how stupid creationism is
have a formal debate, Aaron.
You
and I. Just have a formal debate on God's existence.
I'm sorry,
what? Have a formal debate? It's you and I, Aaron. I'm so stupid, you should be able to beat me. Let's set up a formal debate.
Against you? Okay. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Set that up.
Okay.
Because I don't feel good about brutalizing children, but I realize that you're like technically a legal adult. It's only mentally that you have this problem. So yeah, I would be absolutely all about that. In the meantime, answer Owen's question.
All right.
Well,
So
let's
you
set
were
up a
going to tell
debate right
me.
now. Let's pick a topic. Look, guys, if you don't want me to answer,
It
the reason we need a
doesn't
formal
matter,
debate is
Matt,
so you can't,
because you don't
so
know
you
dick
can't
about
interrupt like a
anything.
baby.
I
Like
would
a
love to have a debate with you. Name the topic. You're wrong. I'm right. Period. But in the meantime, right now,
you accept
answer
it. We're
Owen's
going to have to
question.
arrange it. Let's go. Don't interrupt now. What's your question, Owen?
All right. My question is, Matt, I would actually like to debate you as well at some point. Maybe we can arrange something like that. But my question
you
is,
feel like you're maybe taking advantage of the specially
Aaron,
privileged.
one at a time, Aaron. Aaron, one at a time.
I'm talking to Owen now. I'm cautioning him that if he wants to debate you, will it make him look bad for taking advantage of somebody who's not fully capable?
that's a fair question.
It shouldn't be. If I'm not capable, he shouldn't have any problem defeating me. So,
All right.
Well, we don't have
question
a
is-
problem defeating you. It's whether we
Aaron,
look bad
Aaron,
for
you
crippling,
gotta calm
for
down.
kicking the cripple.
Aaron, you got to
That's
calm
the problem.
yourself down, buddy. Calm yourself
All
down.
right.
Get a grip.
Why?
Get a grip.
All right. Okay. Why is it that you accept the scientific consensus on pretty much everything in your life, except for the very specific areas of your life that you personally care about, and you reject the scientific evidence in those very specific areas? You trust science in every
what?
other way, but this one.
Well, first of all, I don't trust science in every category. Science is a
Yeah, only the
philosophical
ones that
approach to
click with
learning.
you.
Can I finish?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Wait. Man, you guys have got interruptitis. I can't believe it.
Okay.
I was saying that science is a philosophical approach to learning about the material world. It doesn't quantify or measure abstract entities. So there's issues there. It's useful. And I love science. I watch documentaries. I love science. I study quantum mechanics. I love science. Now, about whatever you want to talk about, you want to talk about scholars, you got to be careful not to make the argument called the argumentum ad populum. The majority of people say this, so therefore it's true. That's not a valid argument. We need something more than a universal negation you guys are asserting. You guys,
I got to
start from the
wonder
wrong
about somebody who
position to
says
begin
that they like science, but they don't like anything that is repeatable, verifiable, that requires that you substantiate the claim before you make it.
Sure.
So you're absolutely 100% against science, but you like to pretend
No, I'm
as
not.
if you like science. Can't show that anything you say is ever true, ever.
Aaron,
But
you got to
you-
calm down. You got to calm down. You gotta
Oh,
calm
brother,
down.
look, you just talked for like a solid 2 minutes. Now it's our turn.
Okay, now hold on.
Matt
I
Slick is
love
just completely
science. I do. I have no
He
problem
runs
with it.
an
I
apologetics
can
channel,
defend.
which is-
I can defend science. I like science. Don't tell me I don't. If you
Mhm.
say,
I
if you say that I don't like science,
sir. I
then
bet I would
what
bet
is it about?
money-
What is it about science
I
I
would
don't
bet
like?
money
Tell me
that
what
you can't
specific thing.
defend science.
Tell
You
me
don't.
Tell me what specific thing I don't
Here's
like
my
about science.
problem. Here's
Somebody
the problem.
set up
what
in
you
the
see.
chat. I want to hear a
It's-
chat set up about how Matt Slick
Come on.
would defend science. I'll put $100 on that. I bet Matt Slick cannot defend science.
Yes, I can. You give me $100 right now if I defend it.
bet, and I want the people in the chat to
Will
set
you?
up how we would do that. No, you idiot, liar, apologist cannot defend science.
I can't.
You can't even defend.
If
You
I
don't
did-
even know what the scientific principles are.
If I can, would you give me $100?
We would need to set up
I
terms,
I
very
just
clear
said I
terms.
would bet $100, and we will leave it up to the chat to figure out how that would be done.
To defend science means to articulate and hold up the procedures and the methods of the empirical methodology used in science. It requires
Which
rational
does
inquiry
not ever
based on
support
observation.
your position
Would you let
whatsoever.
me finish? You let me finish, please.
Yeah, I can let you finish, but just understand that will never
Aaron?
support your
Aaron?
position
Aaron,
ever.
Aaron,
Excuse me.
you need to
My name
calm
is
down,
not
Aaron.
Aaron.
Calm
My name
down,
is not Aaron.
Calm down.
Merrick. Is your
Aaron.
name Merrick?
It's- I think it's Aron, right?
Calm down. Oh, Aron. Oh, my apologies. I'm sorry. Aron, you need to calm down and let me do what you said I needed to do in order to get my $100.
Oh no, something happened to Colin's studio. Oh no, he
Oh
got
no.
dropped by
Did he get
accident. It
dropped?
was a total
Shoot.
accident.
Okay.
I'm
You
sorry, I was
couldn't-
fucking over it.
That
Okay.
was
Well,
Matt
look.
Slick.
Yes,
was
it
Matt
was.
Slick.
Matt.
That was- he's
Telltaleatheist at
still fucking up.
gmail.com. Telltaleatheist at gmail.com, Matt. Please send me an email. I would appreciate that. And if you
it's
really do
really
want to do a
disappointing.
formal debate, I'm sure we can arrange it. Say again, Aron?
It's really disappointing that you dropped Matt Slick because he's a professional apologist. He is one. It's just like the only way you could get better than Matt Slick is if Kent Hovind called into the show today.
Yeah, he was. He was a pretty big deal. That was interesting, and I feel like it was interesting to hear him kind of go in circles on all the stuff he was saying, and he kept like laying down a bunch of ridiculous nonsense and indefensible claims, and then like
It's his career.
pushing the burden of proof onto us. That was pretty much the whole MO. Anyway, yeah, like I said, telltaleatheist at gmail.com. Matt Slick, please email me. I would really appreciate that. And maybe I can organize a formal debate between you and Aron, or you and me, or something like that. Anyway, I guess we can hit the next caller.
Debate.
You'd like?
I had a formal debate with Matt Slick. It was embarrassingly bad.
Was it really? I didn't even realize. I'll have to look
He
it
had
up later.
no idea. He had no idea what he was even talking about at all.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look this up. Matt Slick, Aron Ra debate. I'll find that later. Anyway,
Yep.
You want to talk? Or you want to bring in the next caller? We've got bringing in Tim, deist, he, him. Why don't most atheists have a lot of children? Fulfill evolutionary goals. What do you got for us, Tim?
Hi. So I was an atheist for a long time. I was actually pretty much never religious, which I don't know. I guess it's a little bit rare, but I'm from a more secular state, as you can see. But I can't understand why most people who are atheists, obviously many are like socially liberal, but then if I understand there's a difference between prescriptive and descriptive, but you would think that if we're here to, survival of the fittest, to be not be fruitful and multiply, because that's the Bible, obviously. But if we're here to, fulfill evolutionary drive and try to take over with our DNA, why wouldn't atheists say, okay, that's our programmed goal, I want to fulfill that? I don't understand why most atheists have the lowest amount of children, something like that. And it never really made sense to me. And I'd like to know why you think that is.
It feels
why would we want to necessarily produce more progeny than everyone else? If we just want to live and enjoy our lives, why would we necessarily want a bunch of kids?
Well, I mean, obviously you think intelligence is at least partially genetic, correct?
Okay.
I don't know about that. Possibly.
Well,
at
I
least
would think
possibly.
if you're,
at least partially. I'll go with that. Go ahead.
Sure.
If you're rational enough to come to what you think is the right conclusion, when you want to fill the world with more people that are intelligent enough to come to that conclusion. I mean, if you thought intelligence was genetic, I do.
I'm sorry, Tim. Can you just pull away from the microphone a little bit? It just keeps like spiking in a way that's kind of unpleasant. Just a little bit of distance.
Did you ever see the movie Idiocracy?
Sorry, what's the movie?
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so they show you in that why intellectual people will never outbreed stupid people.
I think that more than likely intelligence, or let me rephrase, I think that intelligence is more affected by surrounding circumstances than genetics. Like if you're with a family that doesn't value intelligence or education or caring about, whatever, then you probably won't either. And that's why you see a lot of kind of, for lack of a better term, dumb children with dumb parents. I think there's probably a genetic component, but I'm not really sure. I'm hesitant to accept that there is. But either way, evolution is not something that kind of pushes me to follow a specific path. It's just my understanding of the world. Like, I'm not trying to fulfill any evolutionary expectations like that. It's not like a god who would tell me that I need to do this or that, or it's not an overarching purpose. Doesn't give meaning to my life or anything. It's just my understanding of how the world works. That's all. So I wouldn't follow evolution's drive for the same reason I wouldn't follow the physics drive to do whatever. It's just a part of science, Does that make sense?
So I understand it. I see what you're getting at. It doesn't totally make sense to me because it doesn't click in my mind, but I see what you're getting at.
You accept evolution?
What's that? Sorry?
Do you accept evolution as well?
Yes, I accept evolution.
You do. So why don't you go with that? Why don't you use that as your drive or whatever?
I think that I do.
Really?
Do you
I think that I do.
So that you can out reproduce other people?
Well,
other demographics?
I'm getting an education. I want to have a large family, and I want to be able to provide for a large family.
You're trying to produce children that believe as you do, so that you can change the demographics to favor your position.
Well, my genetics, otherwise, why wouldn't everyone just adopt? Why have your own children? Just adopt then.
No. I don't. I think that I have a kid, and I'm interested in having more kids at some point. And there isn't I'm not doing it for genetic reasons or whatever necessarily. I just would like to have another kid. It isn't. I don't know. I think you're viewing this in a way that I'm just not viewing it. People have different reasons for having kids, and they don't line up with evolution. In fact, they have nothing to do with evolution or spreading genes necessarily or anything else.
So
I'll have as many kids I'll have as many kids as are left unprotected and unwatched on the street.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Like that.
So you agree, like you would just adopt then? It's just
I don't know.
It doesn't make any difference. I mean, I'm not going to change the demographics by raising an individual child and teaching those children. The way that I get through is by teaching people who already think they know to realize that they don't know what they thought they did.
And I don't think that I would be able to adopt because I have a rough past and I have had legal troubles when I was like an addict years and years ago and so on and so forth. I don't know that I would be allowed to adopt. A lot of other people just can't for one reason or another. But yeah, there's my reason.
I mean, I would say that the reasons that most human beings want children are the same reasons that most animals have children. And why don't animals just adopt? Some do adopt, but I mean, why don't they just not breed and just find another stray child? Why would a wolf puppy be abandoned and it would just be left for dead? Like, there's not going to be necessarily another wolf to come get it because the drive to adopt
the question you're posing to us is really a question that should be posed to yourself. Relevance?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a question that you could best answer for yourself. But on that note, science says that gay people likely exist because in society, somebody, it was beneficial to society for unwanted orphans to have somewhere to go, for somebody to take them in. And that's why being gay isn't like passed down genetically, obviously, like that. But, and despite seemingly at its face being an evolutionary disadvantage, not reproducing and passing down your genes like the rest of the population, it's still actually an evolutionary advantage because somebody takes in these unwanted children and things like that. So, yeah.
It's a funny
That
thing.
makes sense.
I don't even like kids. I don't even like my own kids. I respect my kids as adults much better than I did when they were kids. But today, somebody asked me, "Hey, can we meet? Because my 4-year-old daughter wants to meet a handful of snakes. Can you bring a handful of snakes for my daughter to meet?" And I did that, and that was fun. But
yeah,
I really don't like kids, just in general.
Mhm.
some people like that, you know. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it.
There can be a disconnect between what you see as like a pleasurable thing to do and what your instincts are telling you to do. Just because you feel like
Sure.
from a sense of hedonism, you'd rather not have kids and do something else. But there could be a drive inside of you that tells you that have kids. So there could
Sure,
be
but
cognitive dissonance going on.
Yeah, I remember when I thought I had a choice in the matter. My position was that I intended fully that I was going to die with no heirs, and I ended up having 2 kids. We ended up with the same kind of oversight failure. That it just
it
happened,
happens.
and
Yeah.
nothing against the kids that I had, but I never intended to have kids. And I always thought that, the better plan for me was to not have kids. I damn sure would have had a lot more money if I didn't.
That's how people view it sometimes. That's just how it is. No one's obligated to have children or whatever. And there isn't this like biological drive, certainly not once you understand evolution uniquely, that pushes anybody into having them. There are biological drives, of course, that, biological clocks for men and for women to have children, and that just doesn't exist in some people,
Yeah, and also if we're talking about promoting atheism or promoting understanding of evolution, I don't need to have my own kids to do that. I can
I think,
teach a whole bunch of other kids
yeah, that's
about
less
that.
productive to have our own kids, to try to birth our way into that as well. Like, it's more productive to be persuasive to other people rather than spend all of your money and resources creating your own, basically. But anyway.
Could it be
Yeah,
like
any other questions?
thinking about breathing, where you think about breathing, suddenly it's more difficult, or so you get out of tune with your reptilian brain or something like that? Do you see what I'm saying?
I think so. I
Like
mean, I just Mhm.
for me, I just can't understand why people who believe the thing most steadfastly don't think that it's a good thing to follow prescriptively. I mean, or even think it's bad to,
I mean,
reproduce.
my goal is to better society any way that I can, and to make life better for those around me as best I can. And evolution necessitates reproduction, but it doesn't mean that I personally must reproduce. And it doesn't necessarily mean that reproduction is even best for society at that moment in time. Like, maybe we have an overpopulation problem right now, and the best thing for society, for everybody to succeed and do well and thrive, is to have fewer people having children at that immediate moment. I mean, it just depends on the moment in history that you're in or whatever, right? Now I'm stepping
Yeah.
outside of a
Mhm.
reptilian brain and into a logical brain.
to me, that leads to like a free rider problem where the people who ignore that and still choose to have children end up being the most biologically successful.
Do they choose to have children?
They can. I mean, some part of their brain, maybe not the conscious part.
Yeah, but they don't really choose that, do they? I mean, yeah.
Talking about
I would
like,
like a situation. I would like a situation, and I think this would hugely change the demographic of our country and our planet if procreation was not an accident. What if you had to pay a certain amount in order to have that be a fertile pregnancy attempt? What if pregnancy never occurred unless you met the minimum bar to pay for it?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the Christians who are, who believe in be fruitful and multiply, I think they'd still have a lot of children. I mean, I don't think a lot of poor, ignorant people that, no offense, not to say, someone's ignorant, but maybe some of those people would have fewer children. But I think there'd still be religious adherents, definitely, that would see that as dogma, that having a lot of children is important. So, and
are they going to
might not care? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see them pay.
I mean,
yeah, if you had to pay, $9,000, whatever, to have a fertile pregnancy go to term, if you had to pay for that, I think our entire culture would be dramatically different.
Oh, 100%. I wonder too, I'm sorry, something else I wanted to mention is just because Christian evangelical extremists like the Quiverful movement are having like tons and tons and tons of children doesn't actually mean that they are going to birth their way into a Christian nation, because people leave religion all the time when they grow up in an environment like that. The majority of you know what? Everybody in my family has left Jehovah's Witnesses. We were raised staunch Jehovah's Witnesses, and we left it all behind. Every single one of us, all four of us. So you can't really birth your way into an ideology that way exactly. Anyway,
it's important. It's important to illustrate that, because I mean, we see a lot of statistics that talk about the rate of Christian growth and the rate of Muslim growth, but what they don't take into account is attenuation. And attenuation is a major factor, because when you talk about the rise of atheism, that is almost always because of attenuation. It's the number of people who grow up when they become 22 years old, they're in college, and they realize, oh, everything I was taught up to this point is a lie, and they walk away from it.
That does that answer the question? You have anything else for us?
I'm curious what your thoughts are. Earlier in exploring Darwinism and evolution, obviously there were a lot of right-wing ideas like
Darwinism.
What's that? Well, this
Darwinism,
social Darwinism and those more right-wing ideas. Why do you think that fell out with secular people, and secular people became overwhelmingly liberal, while the conservative, the religious element stayed more conservative socially?
What is Darwinism?
What do you mean when you say that generally? Also, can you back up off the mic just a little bit? Just kind of move it away from your face a little, because it's
sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
I had to ask that as a serious question, because he said, why did Darwinism, whatever the fuck that is, fall off?
Well, social Darwinism, like the idea that we should promote certain groups of having children and
Talking about
Where
eugenics?
can I
you
read
know.
about that? Because I don't know anything about I know about evolution, but I don't know about social Darwinism. What is that? Where can I read
Okay,
about
social
that?
Darwinism, I think, was certain populations of people, like races, should be held to a higher. You should
You're talking
promote
about eugenics.
your own or something like.
What is a
I think
yeah,
race?
that's
eugenics is you should promote. Eugenics is you should promote certain genes, like by
Did
force or
Darwin
something.
ever say anything for eugenics? Because I know that he said quite a lot against it.
Well, it was named after him. I don't think that it had
Well,
necessarily anything to
he
do.
did speak out quite a lot against it.
Mm-hmm.
So Darwin was blamed for the eugenics that was going on in Australia before he ever got there, which was decades before he ever came up with his theory. But somehow in the 20th century, he was blamed for what in the 19th century he hadn't even thought of yet. And when he got to Australia, he lamented about what a horrible practice this was. He's criticizing the Genesis going on or the not Genesis, the eugenics that was going on in Australia, which was then later, a century later, blamed on him. Now, do you think that it's fair to blame him for what he's complaining about when he says it's such a terrible thing?
No, I'm not blaming him. I've heard that term thrown around, and I'm
By
not
people
blaming
who are
him. I'm not taking any
criticizing
moral
evolution.
stance.
By people who are
yeah.
criticizing evolution unfairly and putting words in Darwin's mouth that Darwin never said or believed.
Yeah,
I guess it's
Darwin.
not fair, but I wasn't taking a moral position on it. I just wanted to know if you had any ideas on why.
One of the arguments that I heard all my life was that Hitler was a Darwinist and that Darwin was a eugenist. And then I grew up and I started reading both of these men, and I realized that Hitler was not a Darwinist in any sense. Hitler only spoke about Darwinism one time, and that was when he objected to it outright. And Darwin only spoke about eugenics one time when he spoke against it outright. So Darwin was no kind of eugenist, and Hitler was in no sense a Darwinist. Both of those are lies that are told to you by the Christian right.
But to answer your question more directly, you said that that you wanted to know why the right and why the Christians went to the right or whatever. I think that the right and the left were characterized as what they are originally in the French Revolution in 17 something or other, 1780 something. And the people to the left of the king physically were people who wanted to tear down the aristocracy, and the people on the right of the king wanted to maintain the aristocracy. So the left and the right have traditionally been characterized by, well, the right is characterized by maintaining power structures, maintaining traditional attitudes, anti-immigration, pro-religion, things like that, being stuck in the old ways. The church is on the right by definition because it has always been in favor of keeping things the same and not progressing or moving forward or changing. That's just how it's defined, basically. And regarding what you said about Darwinism, right. Darwinism and social Darwinism, those are terms only ever used by the right. And yeah, I know you didn't mean to kind of make any moral prescriptions about it or whatever. That's just, we hear it constantly, that term, and it's only ever from Christian nutcases that it comes from. So anyway,
I want to throw in a clarification. I want to throw in a clarification because I've been hearing these kind of moral arguments ever since I was 10 years old. Before I really knew what the actual meat of the argument is. And so I was constantly told about how Darwinism was completely immoral because Darwinism was Hitler somehow. and Hitler was Darwinism somehow, and that kind of conflation. And it took me a while to realize that no, Hitler was absolutely against Darwin, and Darwin, if he'd known about Hitler, he would have been absolutely against Hitler.
Yeah, I researched this period heavily, and Hitler's idea of eugenics was popular worldwide, actually, not just in Germany. And it was based on some botanists' claims and ideas from the 1730s, not necessarily on like evolution or whatever. Race science came from the botanists in the 1730s.
So you're talking about Carolus Linnaeus, who unfortunately, Carolus Linnaeus wrote his book in 1735, and he described 4 races of human that would be white Europeans, black Africans, red Americans, and yellow Asians. In addition to chimpanzees and orangutans, which he also categorized as humans.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's who Hitler takes his beliefs on. Race science is complete nonsense, of course. Like, complete nonsense, but...
Can I ask another question?
Sure, what's up?
So do you think that tribalism is completely unrelated to like an evolutionary drive? Do you think that it was a totally socially evolved trait?
It was socially constructed. I think that tribes existed because they needed to exist for like the safety of like whatever. But yes, racism, hatred, it is 100% completely and totally fabricated by somebody who wants something. I don't hate people because they have blonde hair or gray hair or whatever. That's completely fictitious. That hatred based on some intrinsic quality is 100% fake. Yes.
This is going to be a surprising thing, but I might contest Owen on this. When you say that do I think that tribalism is completely without evolutionary basis? I think that people have a tendency to identify with their own group and find reasons to disassociate from whatever group they're familiar with. And I think that down through the course of human history, I think we found quite a few examples where people would find ways of othering some other group.
I think I think that there are people who I'm sorry, let me say it again. I think people do find connection with each other. Like, you know, you can see it in sports teams. People love certain sports teams and everything else. But we don't hate people who have gray hair. We don't hate people who have fingerprints that swirl backwards. We'll find commonalities with each other, and we'll find differences, and nobody really cares. The differences that we find to hate were created, I think. So yeah, we'll find. Does that make sense? Is that, you see what I'm saying? I mean, there is an objective answer as to whether, you know, scientifically we hate people for tribalistic reasons, but I'm pretty sure most of it's socially constructed.
I would agree with that. Even the contest that I had with Owen's point, I would have to agree with what Owen just said here, that it is largely arbitrary and artificial.
Okay. I just wanted to hear your opinion of it. All
right.
I'm going to marinate on that, to be honest, but
okay.
I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, thank you for calling. We'll talk to you next time, okay?
Yep.
I love any concept that you have to marinate on. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
100%. All right, awesome. Well, we've got another caller calling in. I'm sorry, just checking.
Do we think we should keep lines open and take another one, or do y'all want to go to Super Chats after this?
I'm good. Owen, you're driving today.
Okay, yeah, we can. We can keep going. I'm gonna have to take a break in a second to use the bathroom and grab some food. Take me like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. But yeah, we can continue.
I'll take over and drive when he has to go. I'm sure I won't hit a tree or anything.
Okay, all right,
Or a
that
number
works.
of pedestrians.
Do you guys want to go? Right. You guys want to go until say 10 and then take super chats after that? Would that work? Or
I follow your lead, sir.
okay. Well, let's bring in another caller here. Just checking.
And I'm really sorry, Luxander, that you cut off Matt Slick. Ridiculous a person though he is, I was so entertained because that man is. I mean, he's so stupid.
It was just getting a little repetitive, and it was like the perfect clip length. So I was like, I'm making the decision.
If you've ever seen the arguments that he holds, they don't get any better than that. I mean, they're vacuous. It's honestly, it's a ton of fun to argue against him.
Yeah, and he debates like very disingenuously. I could tell. Like he was just making things up and would like zero in on this made up thing and refuse to let it go. But anyway.
Also, nothing makes me want to power trip more than people thinking they're my equal on this show. I'm like, no. Someone has control of the mute button and it's me.
Yeah, I know, right? All right. Well, let's take this next call. And I'm just gonna like run over there in just a second. Next call is Jamnik, him from Florida, an atheist. Someone brought up church at work today. I expressed my opinions as an atheist, and they yelled at me to stop. What do you got for us, Jamnik?
Hey, what's going on? I'm Jamnik. I'm in the chat quite a bit. Long-time watcher, first-time caller. I'm trying to find ways of, in public, expressing myself as an atheist to the same extent that I hear theists doing, while trying to keep it as a sharing of ideas more than a debate. And
You'll never get there.
Huh?
You'll never get there. The theists are always going to have the cultural edge over you because make believe sells better than reality.
Yeah. And when I kind of got to that point, that's when they yelled at me to stop talking. And I said, okay. And I was like, it started out okay. They mentioned, they were late for a dance rehearsal, but it's a church, so it's okay. I'm like, yeah, you're forgiven. And they chuckled. But then it kind of went off the rails from there.
Were you able to forgive them without requiring that somebody die first?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Funny how we can do that.
No blood magic involved. And we were talking video games and movies beforehand, and then afterwards I asked him a work-related question, and he answered politely, and I thanked him, and everything was cool, but someone heard him yell, "Stop it," or "Don't talk about that," and I stopped.
Can we talk just for a moment about this, because this is something that matters to me. I believe in forgiveness. Now, although I am a political leftist and people think that we're all about cancel culture, I actually do believe in forgiveness. But there is a prerequisite. You have to admit that you fucked up and would like to make shit better before we can begin to forgive you. Do you follow that?
Yeah.
Would you agree that if somebody says, you know what, this was completely wrong, this was criminal, even whatever I did, I should not have done this. We have to hear that from them before we can begin the forgiveness process. Would you agree with that?
Yes, although I've had to, in a way, forgive people I didn't want to forgive because I just needed to let it go because it was corrosive. but that was more
Did
letting go
they
resentment
acknowledge?
and
Did
forgiving.
they acknowledge ever that it's not just you? It can't just be that you forgive them when they never realize that or never accept that they do something wrong, because we know lots of narcissistic people who never admit that kind of thing. But if somebody's going to admit, you know what, I was wrong, I fucked up, I'm sorry I did that, I'm all about forgiving that person after they've said that.
Yeah, and I could also say that to them. You know, I clearly crossed the line enough for them to yell. It's just disheartening when I'm trying to just engage in conversation because, you know, we do have a threat of Christian nationalism, so I don't want to keep my mouth shut all the time.
But you know, from both sides of this, I've been, and I often say that you don't realize that you're the bad guy when you are the bad guy. But there've been times in my life when I had to realize that, you know what, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I wish I didn't believe that. I've corrected it now. And then there's other people I want to forgive, but they have to make a similar admission. They have to say that I can't just forgive somebody when they don't even know that they've done something wrong. Because we've known people that have spent a decade in prison for a felony that they said, well, it was a stupid law. If you're still blaming the law, how can I forgive you?
Right. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing I was saying about people who haven't admitted doing wrong to me, instead of waiting for forgiveness or wanting forgiveness or to give them forgiveness, I just let go of the resentment, kind of like Iron Man with Captain America in Endgame. You know, resentment's corrosive. So
I've had a couple of moments in my life. I've had a couple of moments in my life where, you know, fortunately, the people that I've known, the people that I've known in my life have been very forgiving. But there's been times when I had to think, when it has occurred to me how wrong I was at a given moment in my life, and so I have to go talk to the person that was most involved in that moment and say, you know what, that was awful. That I held that position, that I believed what I did, that I said what I did, whatever. And I'm so glad that the people that I know have been so forgiving.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I talked too much. I want to hear your story.
With all the protests and stuff, I didn't make it out, and I was kind of beating myself up about it. But in general, I'm just trying to have more conversations. I see people wearing crucifix jewelry and talking about their faith and stuff in work settings. And for 25 years, I've kept my mouth shut at my main job. This is a different job that I started not that long ago, and I'm a little more carefree with my opinions and my jokes than I would be at the place that pays my health insurance. So I'm maybe I did cross a line. But when I hear the conversations around me, people being openly theist, why should I not be able to be openly secular, openly atheist?
No, you know, you're absolutely right. Because why is it that we are treated as if it's okay to lie to children to tell them about Jesus, but if we tell them that there is no Jesus, well, somehow we're the bad guys? We're the ones telling the
Right.
truth.
Right. And when they say, well, you should just let people believe what they want to believe, well, unfortunately, their beliefs affect decisions they make, and the decisions they make affect me and the people I care about. And that's why it's hard
And they're not
to
supported by
talk
anything.
about it.
And not only are they not supported by any actual factual evidence nor logically valid arguments, they're actually contradicted by both. I get it. I'm right there.
Yeah. I had another friend who made a post on Facebook about something they experienced as a child and that they got over it and had issues with thoughts of unaliving, and Jesus got them through it, and thank Jesus. And I've been through some of that too, but Jesus didn't save me. Community did. Healthcare did. Loving family and friends and spouses did. So I kind of said, hey, you've seen that movie Dumbo, right? Yeah. And you know the whole thing with the magic feather and then you can fly without it? I want you to know that you did that. You can fly without the feather.
Wait till you
know?
tell
I wasn't
somebody
saying blow off your face.
that it was his noodly appendage that's what saved you.
Right. But I take credit in the fact that I got over addiction and I survived my midlife crisis and depression, and I'm in a much better place now and even more grateful to the people that helped me get through that. So when I hear someone not take any credit for themselves when they got through it, I'm not trying to knock on their face. If you still believe Jesus did it, that's cool, but you did it too. And give yourself some credit. So that was like another time. No one was offended by that as far as I know. I didn't have to write a witness statement out like I had to do today. But that was another time where someone I've known a long time, I told them how much I loved them and that, they don't need the feather. They were capable of doing that. And I want them to know they're capable of doing that so they don't have to rely on the magic feather. And it had gone too far.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that.
I just came back in for the last half of that, but yeah, it's an interesting illustration. I appreciate that. Anything else you wanted to hit before we move on?
Can I finish? Can I finish? I just wanted to ask if I could finish.
Right, we got another Matt.
He said, my scholar beat up your scholar, and then he said, you and I, like after school at the bike rack, you and I, man, we're going to go debate this. And just like,
I know.
You're really showing your emotional age, dude. Anyway, that's
I know.
all I got. I love you guys. I have a
In that same vein, I just saw somebody in the chat make the accusation that Aron does the same every time. He makes a positive assertion but doesn't support his claim. On what, bitch? Be specific.
Right. Yeah, it was absolutely absurd, that whole thing. But yeah, thank you again for calling in. We have another caller, ATHEISTS.
Yay!
Yes. There's no name here. A Saint's Way to Live, Zem. And you're a theist. Okay. Revolutionary religious philosophy. What do you got for us? A Saint's Way to Live?
Hi. First of all, I just wanted to say I'm a big fan. I'm listening to a lot of your debates with other religious people.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you.
And lately, I've been in a nuanced way of thinking, trying to figure out exactly where religion went wrong.
Okay.
But for some reason, even though I've connected it with many philosophy and theoretical physics, for some reason it doesn't stray me away from it, but it doesn't get me any closer. If anything, it just blurs the lines.
I see. Okay.
I'm having
So-
trouble understanding. Can you clarify what you mean by the intermediate steps here?
Okay, for example, sorry, let me clear my throat. Because I've actually been wanting to talk about this with a lot of people lately, and I haven't had the chance. So this is the first time. So give me some. Let me take the shyness away real quick.
All right.
Okay. I was thinking about. I was thinking about exactly what people were thinking when they created religion. You know, recently I've been listening to a lot of. Have you heard of Damien At Hope?
Yes,
not.
I know him. I
Yeah.
know him.
Yeah, so I've been. Hey, have a seat with people. So I've been thinking exactly. You know what would make what would make people have these profound thoughts of how everything was created, and I started seeing that there was a lot of resemblance between their thoughts back then before they had any instruments for science, and damn, how can I go about explaining this? Okay, let's start off because you was talking about evolution with the most recent caller. How
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand how convergent evolution and emergent evolution works. They don't understand that there's actually a dualism between nurture and nature, um, 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 between nurture and nature and what's being evolved. So they don't understand that for, like, let's say, for example, for an anteater to evolve a long tongue to be able to eat the ants, the environment has to be there for the anteater to grow that long tongue, but also it has to do with the limitations or whatever the anteater can evolve to be able to evolve that tongue. So you can also say that without the environment, the anteater won't have that long tongue to evolve to eat. So there is a dualism. So you can say that, like how religious people say that, you know, oh, that the word was with, and the word is God, and then the word became flesh. And to me, that just it kind of sounds like they're saying these deep intertwined patterns that started with the universe became us. So we're kind of reflections of the universe. So I'm like, if atheists today see it that way, right? If atheists today see it that way, how could people have before thought of something similar with all the advances in science that we have today? Like, for example, I was listening to these two atheists speak on the trigonometry podcast, and they were saying that there's a consensus that before the Big Bang, right, it was a realm of possibilities that was timeless and spaceless, and with a fluctuation, a Big Bang will occur to create a universe. And that's why, you know, these other people started thinking about multiverse and whatever other theories they were saying. But I'm like, if there's a top down, if what religious people say as above than below, and we already have an idea that kind of like emotions and all of these things that you know, the laws of thermodynamics, all of these things are, you could see that it comes from like a macro down to a micro. Then what they are saying, that realm of possibilities, to me, that just sounds like a macro version of the micro, which would be the mind.
I'm trying
So
to,
the way that
like,
we
I'm not
think,
sure I fully understand here. I feel like
right?
I didn't understand the dualism that you were referring to with an
Yeah.
anteater. I'm a little bit lost on like your premises here. Can you lay it out in syllogism form? Kind of give us a few premises and then kind of a conclusion.
Yeah, I have
What?
to
What?
agree. I
That's what
didn't
I'm. That's
understand
what I'm trying
any
to
of this
do. But
argument.
the lines keep blurring. You know, that's what I'm trying to explain. But the lines
Which
keep
lines are
blurring because
blurring?
to me,
Okay,
right? To me, it
let
just
me
seems like they're
just jump
parallel
in
to
for a
each
moment.
other.
Let me just jump in for a moment. What do you think
Okay.
atheism is?
Uh, uh, a different way to describe whatever religious people thought about, but using different words, like as
It's
kind of like as a
not.
thesaurus.
It's not believing in a God. So, if
But
a
it
God
depends
is
on what your sense of God is.
if the sacred fables say that God said abracadabra and poofed out of everything out of nothing by magic, then atheists do not believe abracadabra, everything poofed out of nothing by magic.
Right, but that's the problem. When you're saying abracadabra, everything put out of nothing, you're still doing what religious people do. Is
But we're
How
not
so?
saying that.
religious people put human attributes to what atheists take human attributes
How
away from.
so? How are we doing
Because,
that?
like, if, for example, if you want to talk about like the word communication in a broader sense than just two things communicating, knowing that they're communicating with each other and receiving that communication. If you want to put it in a broader sense, you could say that even though planets don't know that they're communicating with another planet or receiving that communication and interpolating what they're communicating with, you could still say they communicate with each other
Yeah,
in
hold
I-
on,
ways
hold on,
that we
because
don't communicate.
that's just too much weird to go. That's like way away from everything we're talking about. So, from the atheist
I
position,
don't think so, because
from the
when
atheist
people say like,
position, from the atheist position, there was never a time when there was just nothing. Every model of cosmogony I have ever heard of begins with a singularity, which is not nothing. There
no,
are
the
some
singularity
models
is
that may vary from that, but
the,
we always have
from what I
something to begin with,
researched
not nothing.
from atheists, the singularity is only the beginning of the Big Bang. There's already
Except
a
that it's
consensus
not.
that before the singularity, there was a realm of
But the
possibilities that was timeless
the
and spaceless.
singularity is the unification of all time, space, and matter, and it can be cyclical, as has been proposed by a number of physicists. It is
Right, Penrose talked about that,
not.
where he
It is
believes that,
not.
yeah,
It
but
is
that's
not.
not the
Not.
consensus.
Hang on.
Not.
All right, hang on.
Not
Just a second.
the
I'm gonna mute
creation of the
you.
universe.
Saints Way to Live. I'm gonna mute you for a second, Saints Way to Live, because there's a delay. We keep talking over each other. Go ahead, Aron.
Yeah, the singularity, the cosmic inflation had a beginning, but the universe itself did not. The universe was never created. There was never a time when there was just nothing.
Right. And so let me bring you back in there now, because of that delay. It's hard to. All right, you're back with us.
Yeah, I think you're confusing nothingness with the universe itself. I never said that there was just never nothing. I just know that the
Okay.
closer back
So
in
you
time you
agree
go,
the
there's
universe
less
was
time
never
and less
created.
space.
So you agree that the universe was never created.
With the inner or the outer universe, because you're using what was
The
before the singularity.
universe, the one and only universe, was never created. Do you agree with that or not?
What's your definition of universe?
The entirety of all of the cosmos that we can see, as far as all of the different galaxies, Lana Kea, all of that, every object we can detect, in the entirety of space. That would be within the universe.
It was created.
Why would you say that when none of the physicists say that?
No, they do say that. They say
They
that
don't say that,
before.
and I can cite specific ones who do not say that. Sean Carroll, for example, says that the universe is eternal, never created, and he's not the only one. There are several others. Even Lawrence Krauss, who the author of A Universe from Nothing, does not believe there was ever actually nothing. He was being facetious in the use of his title. They do not believe the universe was ever created. Name me a physicist who says that the universe was created. That you can't.
I can't name it because I don't know the name specifically, but I watched their discussion
Because nobody
stage where
says
each of them
that.
had a
Creationists
different
are the
theory
ones who
of
believe
different multiverses.
Creationists are the ones who believe in creation ex nihilo, out of nothing. Atheists do not believe that. We do not believe that there was ever a time when there was ever just nothing. We do not believe that the universe was ever created. You cannot cite an actual physicist who says that the universe was created.
I can cite it right now.
Name him.
Give it to us.
Sorry,
At
I'm
the
just
end of
pulling
the
up
day.
I'm pulling up
Okay.
the physicists that I saw on stage debating multiverses and their different interpretations.
This is not the prevailing view in physics, but assume it, like, just for the sake of argument, I'm not sure what
we
point
have
you're
Lawrence
getting at
Krauss.
anyway. No, he just
We have-
addressed Lawrence
have-
Krauss, like just.
No, but
So just
Lower-
for the
low-
sake
lower-
of argument, hang on, please. For the sake
Lawrence
of
Krauss
argument,
does not believe that the universe came from nothing. I can bring him into the call if we need to. He does not believe
So-
that. His book explicitly
he
says he does not
believe that the universe came
No,
from
he
nothing.
does not
but he
believe that the
doesn't see
universe came from
nothing as
nothing.
just nothing. He
I have
sees it
talked
as
to
a
Lawrence about this
He sees
directly
it as
a
a
number
field
of
of
times.
energy governed by
No,
physics. That's
Lawrence
literally what I
Krauss
just
does not believe that
said.
the universe came from nothing. Read his fucking book. He says
I
it
did.
in the book.
Lawrence Krauss doesn't say
Does
nothing is
not
nothing.
believe that the
Lawrence
universe
Krauss
ever
says
came from nothing.
is
He
a
had to
field of laws
redefine.
governed by physics.
Lawrence Krauss had to redefine what nothing is for the sake of his book. He does not believe there was ever a point when there was just nothing.
And we
I've
have two
talked to him
different
directly.
definitions of
Read it
nothing.
in his book. His book explicitly says there was never a point when there was just nothing.
Okay. Lawrence Krauss's definition of nothing is a field of laws governed by physics.
all right, look. Okay,
I'm
look.
gonna have
So
to dig Lawrence Krauss up on this because I can.
look, let's just say that you're correct for the moment, even though you're not correct. But what's the next step here? I'm not sure what point you're getting at.
The point that I'm getting at, of course, nothing doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean that there's nothing. What he states,
Wait,
and
so
many
you
other
agree with
people
me,
say,
and you agree with Lawrence Krauss that there was never a point when there was just nothing?
right? Let's change the word.
And your
from
whole
nothing.
argument is moot.
It's not removed because a field of
I said moot.
laws governed by physics is not material.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Right.
so now you've
since
right, but
we
there's
don't
no
believe that there was
space
ever
either.
a time, since no atheist ever anywhere believes there was ever a time when there was no physical anything, then your argument is moot.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that there can be something without space, without time, without material, but still exist as a field?
No.
Oh. So you believe that fields only exist when there's space and time?
Fields?
I believe that things exist when they can be indicated to exist.
Are you saying fields? Because yes, fields are a property of the universe.
And one of the arguments that Sean Carroll made is that universal wave function predates most of what we would consider space and time. So yes, those things exist. The physical material reality pre-exists nothingness. There was never a time when there was ever nothing.
Okay, and how do you go from fields of laws to actual material?
You have material to begin with.
And also saying I don't know anyway, even if, you know, the words I don't know are so important. Like we need to be able to say I don't know if we don't know. So you're trying to get a gotcha like we don't have the answer to this. No, maybe we don't. Maybe there is no
But
answer. Who knows?
That's why I'm proposing. That's why I'm proposing an answer.
But you're not.
Okay,
If you have not studied astrophysics, you cannot contest Sean Carroll and Lawrence Krauss and all of these other astrophysicists because you literally don't know dick about jack. You have no position to even be part of the conversation.
You want to know the difference
neither do
between
I, right?
You want to know the difference between people like me and people who just study in their field and don't jump to other fields to study other fields to see if there's something missing in their argument?
I think I already do.
Not necessarily, because what they do is that they look at other
people who don't study. The people who don't study the subject but pretend that they know more than all the best educated expert specialists anywhere ever, you're called ignorant.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Absolutely by necessity, yes. If you haven't studied the fucking topic and you don't even know how to start talking about it, then yes, by definition, you are ignorant. And apparently willfully.
Let's talk statistics. You can agree.
Oh boy, I would love to talk specifics with somebody who doesn't know fuck all about the topic. Where should we begin?
Let's talk. No, not specifics. Let's talk statistics.
Excuse me. Let me clarify one thing, because a couple of people in the chat have already pointed out that there's no point in talking to you, because I am not an astrophysicist. Neither is Owen. Now,
right.
I know that Owen is adept in particular avenues. I am especially adept in phylogeny. Neither of us, I don't think, have any particular aptitude in cosmogony. Neither of us. So if you want to argue with that, I would suggest you choose someone else. If you want to talk with somebody about expertise, I would be happy to talk to you about evolutionary phylogenies, in which case I will chew you up.
And I will talk to you about brainwashing, mind control, and cults. And I will chew you up on that one too. Or maybe we'd agree. I don't know. But yeah, we aren't physicists is the bottom line. So we can't really kind of debate on this. All we can do is reference the expert.
Lawrence Krauss did not say what you said he did.
Yeah.
But let's change.
We can just reference
let's change the subject. The subject, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah, sure. We'll talk about phylogeny. You ready?
No, let's change the subject to cults, if that's okay.
To cults?
To what?
Oh, to cults. Mind control.
Take it over.
All right.
How do you feel that? How do you feel that a lot of Democrats lately have been telling Republicans about not drinking the Kool-Aid, but yet they did not know that term actually comes from a Democrat civil rights activist before he ended up killing himself and everybody else?
He wasn't a Democrat. He was a communist. They were different. He didn't identify with. You're talking about Jim Jones of the. Of the People's Temple, the Jonestown cult. Yeah, he was not a Democrat. He was a communist. But what was your question? One more time about it.
I said that they bring out that term when they speak in towards Republicans, but yet they don't bring up that he was a civil rights activist who adopted a black kid, and this was all before the suicide cult.
I'm not sure how they're or why they're connected. Yeah, he was a nutcase, and he was very much outside of the political norms of any day, honestly, in the United States, being the communist that he was.
But he was connected to a lot of Democrat leaders.
He was connected to civil rights organizations generally because he was a communist as a political activist, but he was not a Democrat. He was not. Yeah, I mean, he just wasn't. I'm not sure what you're getting at with that. Even so what? Like, okay, yeah. People, the term in colloquial terms means somebody who has gone completely down a cult rabbit hole. And MAGA has very clearly gone down a cult rabbit hole, and I don't know how that can be contested. The idea that there are democratic cults, which there absolutely are cults on the left, 100% for sure, doesn't negate the fact that there are cults on the right, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I'm actually a little nuanced on between Democrat and Republican beliefs. I feel like they both have things that are right, and they both have things that are wrong.
Really, that's going to be an interesting
Republicans have
conversation.
nothing. Yeah.
I
Republicans
would love
have
to hear something
nothing that's
Republicans
correct
got
right now.
right.
Yeah,
That would
nothing.
be
There's
fascinating.
nothing.
Yeah, Republicans are just
Yeah,
wrong.
I'm sorry, you
about
guys were
everything,
speaking over each other.
all the time, all the way through.
I feel like
So-
a lot of the things they had wrong is because the Democrats weren't explaining themselves correctly, because even I can explain
Excuse me,
LGBTQ and the trans movement better
when the
than most of them.
when the Republicans deny people due process, that's because Democrats didn't explain themselves well enough? Or did the Constitution not make it clear enough?
Oh, that's
You
a
get
good
that?
question.
Yeah. The fact is,
Have you ever
Republicans
seen
are
the
wrong
movie
about it.
Minority Report?
No.
So Minority Report is a movie about crime fighters that use these women that are connected to machines to tell the future, and they actually stop the crime a few seconds before it actually happens.
Uh-huh.
We have to jump into fantasy because the guy has no reality to support his argument.
No, it's actually a good way to think about
It's
it.
a
If you can stop
movie.
crime 5
We're
seconds
talking
before it
about
happens,
reality. Talk about things that actually happen. Look at what the Republicans are actually doing. The crimes against the Constitution that Republicans are actually doing.
how
Not
is that
the
any
fantasy
different
movie
from
that has nothing to do with anything.
Republicans that in the future will become Nazis, but they want to stop them now before they actually
The Republicans
do
of the
become
future
Nazis?
the Republicans of the present are already Nazis.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Nazis in the
Have you
sense
not
of
seen
theology.
the
I'm talking
poster
about
of the
Nazis
young
in the
Republicans
sense of
saying, "I
actually
love Hitler,"
doing
and
killing.
watermelon people, and that we should burn people in the torches? The anti-Semitic messages about how Jews should be burned? Yes, the young Republicans of right now today are already Nazis. We don't need a fantasy movie about the future.
What I'm trying to get at is that would you kill Hitler before he committed the crimes or after?
Should I kill Trump 40 years ago to stop him from what he's about to do? Is that what you're asking me?
Right. I'm asking you, would you remove due process to stop somebody from
Would I
about to do crime?
Would I remove due process? Do you think we've not had sufficient due process to incriminate Hitler?
Before he committed a crime.
Did we have due process to incriminate Hitler?
Before he committed the crimes.
Do
Would you
we
kill him as
now
a baby?
have, as time travelers who can now go back in the past,
Before.
do we already now in the present have sufficient evidence to incriminate Hitler before we go back into the past?
Hey, you were the one that said that we can't go into imaginary terms.
Is that a yes or is that a no?
Okay.
If you stop crying before it happens, that means the crime
We
won't
have to know
happen.
that it's a crime
So
that's
would you
going to
kill that
happen,
person
right?
if you go back in
So
time?
did we have we had due process to convict Hitler?
Would you kill him before the crimes or after?
A
All
yes
right,
or
look,
no
we are-
question. Address that first. Have we had sufficient evidence to convict Hitler?
All right, hang on. We're running out of time, and the caller seems to be stun locked on a single answer. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to answer, and then we have to move on to a new person, okay? Because we're just about at the end. I've unmuted you. Go ahead.
Okay, that's fine. No, I just
Okay,
wanted to know because we're talking about due process now, but yet why don't we go and kill criminals, right? Like Hitler, when they're kid, when their grandparents, when their great grandparents,
So
their lineage down 100,000 years ago. That's basically what you're saying.
Is that an admission that we have now in the present had due process sufficient to incriminate Hitler?
But if you stop him before the crime, then you won't have the due process.
Do we know?
Like
Did we have due process? Yes, this is a yes or it's a no. Do we have due process to incriminate Hitler?
Yes.
Thank you. Then we had the due process to incriminate him if we send time travelers back into the past.
There you go.
No.
All right. Anything else you want to mention before we move on?
No, everything's fine. I'll stay in my nuanced belief.
Okay. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
Unreasonable and not learned anything.
Sometimes nuance is incorrect, a nuanced belief. Like, there is an objective answer with flat Earth. It is either flat or it's not flat, right? And the neutral answer would be, I don't know. But the correct objective answer is, I do know it's round. This is another example that you'll stay in your nuanced belief. You're not correct because you think you're in the center. There is an objective answer here. Anyway, thank you for the call, though. I appreciate that. Let's bring in our final caller. We've got Dave. Dave is from Washington, atheist/theist, has some questions for Aron about strong atheism, says he was told to call in. All right. What do you got for us?
Okay.
Well,
I'm
it was
sorry,
about a month
Owen.
ago. I asked Aron.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yep.
Yep.
I'm here.
We're here.
I'm trying to. Okay. About a month ago, I called in and asked Aron a question. He gave me an answer. So he gave me a positive answer 3 times. And the question was, are you a strong atheist? He said yes, positively, 3 times. So I asked him a follow-up question, and he got thoroughly bent out of shape at me. I don't know if he remembers it or not, but I asked him a simple yes-no question. And the way I worded it back then is, do you have faith in your belief?
No.
Okay, no. So you're not a strong
1,
atheist.
I don't have beliefs. And 2, I do not have faith in them. Faith is a belief that is not based on evidence. And my position is not a belief. It is an understanding that is based on evidence. So no faith, no belief.
Okay.
But I have evidence to indicate the probability.
So let me ask you another question then. I could have worded that different, and you probably wouldn't have got pissed at me, but I didn't on purpose. So another question was, you buy an airplane ticket to fly across the country. Do you have faith that that airplane will get you to the far side of the country, and do you believe it? Same question.
No. Once again, I don't have a belief because it's not something I have to make believe like beliefs are. Religious beliefs are make believe. That's when you pretend something is true that is not evidently true. What I have is not faith, because a faith is a belief that is not indicated by evidence. What I do have are strong indications in evidence that this pilot, this crew, this plane have had 100 or so flights so far, and in every likelihood, the probability is that we will have yet another 132nd safe flight.
Okay, so now I'll rephrase my first question.
Okay.
I'll rephrase my first question.
Okay.
And if I ask you, you trust that your assertions are true?
Do I trust that the evident probabilities
you made three assertions. No,
I didn't make any assertions.
You made three assertions.
I made no assertions.
In the positive. Yes, you did. I got it. You know, you can look up the video. You said
I made
there
no
is
assertions.
absolutely no possibility that God exists.
There is no possibility that God exists, but I made no assertions.
Okay, that's another positive assertion. What is your proof then?
I didn't make any assertion.
Sure you did.
I made no assertions
you just said
at all.
There's no possibility of a God.
Can you show me
if there's no possibility of a God, prove it.
Can you show me a possibility?
What is your evidence that I
show me a possibility?
Necessarily believe in it. I believe in Aron,
show me the possibility. Can you show me a precedent or parallel?
The fact that you need to learn to be quiet a little bit.
You
okay.
Show
look, I'm going to mute. I'm going to mute for a second.
Can you show me a precedent or parallel or verified phenomenon to indicate that a possibility exists?
And also, it sounds like you're the one making the assertion that you have to defend. You're asserting that there is a God. We need you to defend that. You're flipping the burden of proof on us. Okay, I've unmuted you again. Go ahead.
Okay, so in my opinion, the person making a positive claim has a burden of proof. Is that true? Yes or no?
I would grant that, yes.
Okay, so you made three positive assertions to me on another video that there is absolutely no possibility of a God existing.
Okay,
what is your burden of proof?
Can you show me one?
Yeah, go back and look at the video. I called into this channel.
Can you show me that there is a precedent or parallel or verified phenomenon to indicate that a possibility exists?
A possibility based on my own personal experience does not require proof because I never made a positive statement.
Your own personal experience. I need something objectively verifiable. Show me a precedent.
You even
parallel,
listen? You even listen to people?
Yes, I do listen. Do you?
What is your verifiable proof?
Show me a precedent or parallel or verified phenomenon to indicate that a possibility exists. Because if you cannot, then the list still sits at 0 possibilities.
No, the list still sits at the fact that you will not answer a yes or no question.
I answer every yes or no.
What is your verifiable proof? What is your verifiable proof that no God exists?
Okay. I said
you asked me a question.
Do a video on this. I actually did do a video on this because there are so many answers to that. It's not just that there is no evidence. It's not just that there is no actual factual evidence of a God, nor any logically valid arguments for it either, but that we have plenty of both against. And then I went into specifics. I made a video about it where I went on for about 17 minutes listing all the different facts and evidence against there being a God. Now, you argued that there is a possibility. Can you show me one? Or is the list still 0?
If you go back to the video, Aron,
why don't you tell me what you remember of it? Did you have an example of one possibility you could show?
Okay, let me put it to you this way. When I called in the last time, I said, based on my personal experience, I believe there's a possibility. A possibility based on my experience. Shut up.
I don't
Shut
care
up.
what you believe.
Based on my
We're talking about
experience,
objective
I do not
verification
have
here.
to prove.
I don't care about what you believe.
Defend it.
Show me whether there is a
I
possibility.
don't care about what I believe. What I said, if you would learn to listen, because you don't do that.
Can you show me that there is a possibility to consider, or is the list still zero? Can you show me that the list is anything more than zero?
You even listen to other people?
Yes, I do.
There's
do
a
you
delay.
even listen to what they're saying? Okay, when I
there's a
say,
delay, and that might be
based
part of the
on
problem.
my personal experience,
which is irrelevant.
Based on my personal experience, I believe
Which
there's
is
a
irrelevant.
possibility.
You
It's
believe there is a
irrelevant,
possibility, but there
exactly.
isn't one you can show. There is not one you
A
can show.
belief-
So you have a subjective impression, which is entirely false. You cannot show me that there is a precedent
I
or
don't have
parallel
to
or
show you.
verified phenomenon.
What is it you don't understand about the burden of proof? You made
What is
three
it that
positive
you
statements.
don't
that are-
understand? That's all
There
of it.
are three
I
positive
understand.
statements.
I understand that you have to
You
have a
made
precedent.
three positive statements
No, I didn't.
that no God exists. Absolutely no God exists.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you
No, I
said it
didn't.
3 times.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, because at the very end of the conversation, when you got all bent out of shape at me,
I didn't get bent out of
I'm
shape.
an epistofist and I don't believe anything.
I didn't. Yeah,
Well,
I am an
now
epistemist, and I don't believe
define-
anything. And I didn't get bent out of shape.
Okay.
So, if you want
Yes,
to
you
say that
did.
there is a possibility, is it your position that there is a possibility?
It
Is
is
it?
my position based on my personal experience that I believe
Which
there
is
is
relevant.
a possibility. Belief and
Okay, so that
possibility
your
do
personal
not
experience is
require.
relevant. But do you
Aaron,
think
shut
that
up.
there is a
You
personal? Do you
believe-
think that there is a possibility that God exists?
No, I didn't
Right?
say I think there is. I believe there is.
Okay, so you agree with me that there is no possibility.
No, I don't. Because
So
I said
so you do
my personal
take the position
experience,
that there
I
is a
believe
possibility.
in a possibility. You
Okay, so
really
you
don't
do
understand
believe that
words
there
well, do
is
you?
a possibility. You do believe
No.
that there is a possibility.
I believe that there could be a possibility. Again,
There could
it's not
be,
a positive
but you
statement.
don't know if there is one.
Could be.
So we still don't
I
have
can't
anything
prove
to
it
talk
one
about.
way or the other.
So you can't
Okay,
show
can
me
you
that
prove-
there is even a possibility to consider.
Yeah,
So our
no.
list of
Can you
possibilities
prove that
is
there is
still
a
zero.
possibility that there is no God? Can you bring up
Show
any
me that there
evidence
is a possibility to consider.
whatsoever?
Show me that there is
Is
a
there any
possibility
evidence
to
you can bring up? No, you see, you're
Show
twisting the words around. Okay,
me that
shut
there is a
up and
possibility.
listen, Aron.
All right.
Take a chill
Show me that
pill.
there's a possibility to
Okay.
consider.
Show me that there isn't a possibility
Yeah.
to consider.
If you cannot show me that there is a possibility, then the list
Show
of
me a
possibilities.
possibility. You're the one that made 3 positive assertions
I didn't
that
make
there
any
is no
positive
God.
statements. I didn't make any positive
Yes, you
assertions.
did.
But you did.
Yes, you did.
said there's a possibility, and you can't show one.
I said, if you learn to listen, which you don't do very well, if you learn to
which I
listen,
do very well.
I said,
I do much better
based
than
on
you,
my personal experience,
which is irrelevant.
I believe there could be a possibility, a belief,
You believe
a
there could be, so
possibility
you
based
believe
on my
there's nothing,
experience.
that there could be a which means nothing. You should show me that there is.
There you
Show
go.
me
Now
that
you're
there is.
getting it.
Otherwise,
Now you're
otherwise,
getting it. You made the
about
3 positive
could be
statements. Show
is
me a
irrelevant.
possibility that a God doesn't exist. Show me that.
Why would
Can you
try to
show me
switch
that?
the burden of proof? So you're doing a logical fallacy of shifting the burden of proof.
No, I'm not.
You made the positive
You're
burden.
shifting the
You
burden of
said-
proof and the fact that
you
you
said-
won't stand
You
by
said
your
there is
statements.
a possibility.
Oh,
You
I
can't
said
show
based
it.
on my experience. Look it up.
You don't have
Aron,
any
it's in a
experience.
dictionary.
Relevant. You have a belief, which is
I
meaningless.
have my
that
own
there
personal
could be, which is
experience.
nothing. Owen,
Are you really that ignorant?
Okay, yeah, I've muted you for a minute there. It sounds like we are stun locked on the exact same point, and that point appears to be you trying to shift the burden of proof and refusing to just admit your beliefs, which we all know that you have, because you can't accept that there is no proof. So I'm going to give you just another word, and then we're going to call it. I'm bringing you back in. Is there anything else you
Okay.
want to lay down for us before we move on?
Yeah. You are misrepresenting what I said.
No, I don't.
And that's why
Don't lie about me.
I don't call into these channel. I just listen to the
I
nonsense.
didn't misrepresent anything.
And
Don't lie about
you're sure you did.
I didn't.
Look it up.
I did
It was
not
back on the
misrepresent.
line
You said-
about a month and a half ago. If you watch the video, you'll hear exactly what you said.
Yep, and
And
it
you
won't
said
be a
it 3 times.
misrepresentation. It will be you lying about me again, like you're doing now. But I didn't
No, I
misrepresent
didn't
you
lie
then.
about you one time, Aron.
Well, then you better
It's just the
straighten
fact
what you're
that-
saying up, because right now you are lying about me. Shut the fuck up or straighten it out.
And with that, thank you so much for calling. It's just absurd. The whole thing was absurd. Anyway, wow, dude. Do you want to read super chats?
I can do. Owen, I apologize if it was my fault that went that way.
Oh no.
It's so
He was
irritating
doing
me.
the exact same thing Matt Slick was doing.
What was that?
He was
Say again?
He was doing the same thing as Matt Slick. He was just going in circles and refusing to, like admit his own beliefs, and then trying to push the beliefs onto you that weren't there.
When the one argument you got doesn't work, and you what do you do? Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. That's how it was going, and he was stun locked on the exact same point for 20 minutes, and it was the same with Matt Slick, stun locked because they have nothing else. So anyway, yeah.
I'm still,
you guys
I'm still upset that I'm still upset that we cut off Matt Slick, because he at least has a name, and so embarrassing him publicly would be, there's some reward there,
Yeah, he was entertaining, that's for sure. Okay, I guess I'll go first, and then you can hit the next one from Puggles.
Sure.
An ungulate says to a parasite, "You make me sick, so I'm going to expel you. You can't stay with me anymore." To which the parasite replies, "But I insist." Zing. Sick fucking zinger. Loved it. Loved everything about it.
All right, $5 Australian from Puggles. A joke for these dark times. One plant says to another, "I'm kind of hungry." To which the other replies, "Yeah, I can use a light snack."
God, so many jokes. Okay. We got $5 or £5 from Mystic Minds Analysis Tavern. I lost both my pet Dagus to cancer within 2.5 months of each other. Supporting a good cause will help me heal bit by bit. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's hard. For sure.
Dagus?
Hate
Or
dealing.
was that meant to be Tegus?
That could be. I'm unfamiliar.
If that's a typo and it was meant to be Tegus, then I heartfelt condolences.
Yeah. Otherwise, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding.
$10 Australian from Puggles. Check out metazoans, placozoans, philozoans, parazoans on the Systematic Classification of Life series by Aron Ra. Lots of hippo pigs and no hippopotamonstrasa quipedophilia. I can't even pronounce that.
Yeah, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
$4.99 from Catheter Cowboy. The radical left has a radical plan to radically radicalize our kids into radical ideas of the left. The radical left. Yeah, that's pretty much all we hear from Republicans nowadays. It's insane.
Which seemed so appropriate when I was standing out there this weekend in a giant newt suit.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's so funny. I really need to get one of my own, for real. Yeah, I think that one is
$10
you.
Australian From Puggles, two parasites walk into a bar. The bartender says, "We don't serve your kind here." To which the parasites replied, "Well, you are not very good hosts."
That's good.
By the way,
I
Aron
appreciate
and
it.
Owen, thank you for being brilliant hosts. UM.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what UM. I feel so weird. I don't know what UM means, but
Me either.
thank you.
Yeah, you're not alone. Yeah. $4.99 from Coffee Mom. My dad passed this year and it was hard, but he was convinced he was about to see my brother again. The son named after him, and that was harder. Yeah, absolutely. Religion causes unnecessary pain and grief a lot of the time.
Yeah. £10 from the Fuzzy Logic. The claim implicit. Matt said that he believes because of personal experience. Aron countered that the Beatles had personal experience with Krishna. Matt countered with the Gospels. His court.
$10 from Jack. You guys, please use the mute button. Yeah, I should have been more liberal with my use of the mute button. He kept interrupting and everything. I was trying, but you know how it goes. So I
I
don't know.
ended up muting
When
him
the
a couple
power-
times.
Yeah, when the power is in your hands, you know how difficult it is to use it.
What
Anyway,
is
thanks.
that wall of plushy you're massaging there?
Oh, this is my cat. Miki is her name. She's such a good kitty. Up here, Miki. Here. She's such a good kitty.
My son has a cat like that. The cat is as tall as it is wide as it is thick. And so
Yeah.
I refer to her as Sphericat.
Yeah, that's awesome. She's a Maine Coon, and she's like 18 pounds. She's huge.
God, wow.
All right, I think this is
Would love a Maine Coon. All right, $10 from Sapphic Hazard. Because Lux is my fucking hero, Matt was heart garbage. Yeah,
Right.
and Lux, thank you again sincerely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have a good time.
absolutely. It was helpful. All right, we got $10 from God's Sinner. The first half is the debate was him yelling about him not making a statement. Then when you drop it, he then makes the statement that he was saying he didn't make from Caracal. 100%. That was the whole thing. And he did make this statement at the beginning. That's why it came up in the first place. That's why we were even talking about it. And then he completely, fully flipped the burden of proof on us when we didn't make the fucking statement. It was insufferable. Oh my God. And I tried to sit there and have an honest intellectual debate for like a minute and a half, and he couldn't even manage that. Jesus Christ, dude. He's so dishonest.
Are we talking about the guy that said that you can't say there's no possibility of God? Okay. Can you show me a possibility? Is that the guy?
No, we're still on Matt Slick. This is still from Matt.
Yeah, we're on Matt Slick.
What I had the most wonderful debate with him where Matt Slick told me that I couldn't prove that I existed 2 weeks ago because all of this he was countering the evidence against the flood by saying that we couldn't prove that we existed 2 weeks ago. I'm like, well, in that case, if there's an alternate universe and we don't exist, then the flood didn't happen then either.
Right.
So then he has an argument with Matt Dillahunty a week later when his argument then was trying to make citations to prove the flood.
It's just dishonesty all the way down.
Yeah.
I think this is you.
All right, $5 from Joshua Everett. Tim sounds like someone whose mother was unwarrantedly overly praiseful of their child's intelligence.
I've learned how to pronounce his name.
I'm just impressed by watching you stroke your massive pussy.
Oh yeah, she's the best. Okay, I think I know how to pronounce this. This is from $10 from Mr. Boricua. Funny enough, Aron, there'd be a song called Parental procreation permit by Arjun Anthony Lucasen on the nose with your statement regarding paying to attempt to have kids. Album The New Real. There you go.
Okay. I'll have to look that up later. $5 Californian from Emily Sigmund. I used to ask theists why they believe what they believe, and they could never answer honestly. I know, right?
Welcome, Emily. Thanks for coming. Fan of my channel as well. $5 from Puggles. A saint's way to live was trying to present our hosts with a box of nothing without the box, right?
$5 from Legally Maud. 2 calls today reinforced my opinion that dumb/stupid people should not be told about science.
Right?
And I know which 2 people.
Yep. $10 from Mario Bartolome Seaman. Last caller, by your logic, then my one anecdotal experience counts as evidence that ghosts exist. No, it doesn't. What happened to me is not evidence for ghosts. Right. Exactly.
$5 from Jamnik06. Thanks again for the conversation. Was I the only one that didn't get yelled at by Aron?
Right.
Next time I'll use a better phone. Can I finish? Okay. I finished.
It's funny. Awesome. That's all of them. Well, thank you guys again for coming and listening. It's been fun. Thanks, Aron, for hosting with me and watching me pet my humongous cat. It's been fun.
You have a magnificent
your...
lab.
Oh, she's fantastic. Remember to bring your best puns for Saturday, Joshua Everett. Thank you.
Patreon.com/calltheline. Thank you, everybody.